everybody. Welcome to day 40, oh my god, of Adventures in Middle-earth, Wilderland Adventures. This is A Darkness in the Marshes. We are sponsored by Cubicle 7, and we are very glad to be with you. Hello, Arvanauts. I hope everyone is doing well and is looking forward to an awesome stream of good fun times, roleplay, and things like that. Before we get any further, let me remind everybody about how to support the stream, as we are at February 12th, believe it or not, and moving into the middle of the month of February, which is hard to believe. If you have not done so already, please consider following the channel. That is always a great thing to do. So following the channel is very simple. If you haven't done so already, please consider checking out the YouTube channel with past broadcasts of this stream, ! ArvTube. ! ArvCord will get you over to the Discord channel where you can hang out with the Arvanauts in between streams. ! Arv Tweets will get you over to my Twitter where you can follow me over there. I usually tweet there when I go live or when I talk about other stuff relating to writing and the like. And while we're on that subject, ! Tweet would be much appreciated. So you could retweet this stream out to all and sundry. That would be much appreciated. So please consider doing that. ! Arv Shop will get you over to my merchandise area, which, as I've been saying for months now, is going to have other stuff that's not just relating to Infinity and Beyond, my longest running D&D campaign. There is going to be other stuff there, but the people responsible for doing it have been super busy with other things for the channel and the other stuff. So we'll get there. Just trust me, it'll be there eventually. Thank you, Shadowed. ! Arv Shop for that. ! Arv Treon is the Patreon, currently sitting at $377.96, where we have been for a while. Again, I'd love to see that get north of 400. Again, that is really the backbone of the channel, financial backbone, and it has taken quite a hit over the last couple of months in terms of I've had to use it because I've been doing a lot of channel related and writing related stuff. It's all good. I mean, I'm using it for exactly what it's meant to be there for, but it means that any support that people can give would be much appreciated. And then last but certainly not least, of course, is that sub button right above the sub window. We are currently sitting at 51 subs, so you can actually get those awesome emotes and stuff like that, and awesome custom sub badges that you see next to Shadowed Mage's name, even next to Arcanus name. I like that Arcanus has a red quill now. That's pretty cool. Anyway, but that would be much appreciated as well, so please spread the word, and thank you. Now, schedule-wise, we have got Adventures of Middle-earth today at 4 p.m. Today I will be over at Pen and Pixels, GOG.com's Twitch channel with my show Pen and Pixels doing Thronebreaker. On Wednesday, so this is tomorrow evening, the second session of Emberwind with John Helfers and Jennifer Brozek and Brahms Belarathian and Sod, and last but certainly not least, Marie Bilodeau, who is going to be joining the crew for the first time. That is happening tomorrow evening. I believe it's late. I think it's starting at like 10 p.m. Eastern, and that's mostly because normally it's going to be on alternate Thursdays, but Thursday, as many of you will know, is Valentine's Day, so you know, they don't want to interfere with love and all that. So it'll be Wednesday this week. And then Friday, I will be back with Esper Genesis, the first session, as it turns out, this month. Hopefully, all of our players should be there for this one. And then Saturday is D&D with viewers. So that's what we've got going on. It's very exciting. I cannot wait. It's going to be good times and all that kind of good stuff. So that is going to be happening. Excuse me. Sorry. There we go. I want to make sure I shut that off. So that is going to be happening this week. Very excited for that. And next week we will have game book illustrations by Terry. We will have we'll start having the nominations for the Chat Chosen Game of the Month and blah, 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 blah. So there's a lot of other stuff happening over the next few weeks. But today we have got Adventures in Middle-earth. And as I jump over to see what's going on there, there is that. And we've got that. And we've got that. Okay, good. I'm just making sure. Cool. I'm just making sure that I've got that I got everybody on board. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to unmute myself so the folks know that we're ready to go. And then I'm going to unmute them so that they are ready to go. And then last but certainly not least, I'm going to head over. Bum, 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 bum. There they are. Now, I have to say, for those of you who are like, wait, where is Will? So Will's power went out just before the show started, and the power came back, but his internet is giving him problems. And he was on with us for one brief shining moment. There was just a moment where we were like, yes, Will, and then he just was like, and we were like, oh no. And then he went back down again. So Will is trying to connect, and I really would appreciate it if Canada, which should know that it is Antarctica, could just, step up its work. No, I'm just kidding. But hopefully, yeah.
You mean Arctica?
No, I mean Antarctica.
Can I just point out that I have been rolling with this canonically bisexual D20 here in an attempt to get rid of all of the bad luck that I feel has accumulated somehow as a consequence of the Magric curse and stuff. And I have rolled approximately 12 times, and only twice did I roll above 10 in that time. And so it's the current is strong, and I'm just going to continue to do this until.
No, it's good. You're clearing karma is the way I look at it. Last night I played a speculate for my. Oh my God! Thank you with a resub, Terry. 16 months, yay! Thank you, Terry.
Why is it telling me 0 months?
That's Arcanus Bot. Arcanus Bot, Shoutout actually needs to. We need to figure out Shoutout how to fix that because Arcanus Bot is not yet picking it up. And it's something to do with the way that Twitch has that new resub thing where. You can like resub and it'll pick up, even if you hadn't subbed for a month, it'll pick up how many months overall.
Okay.
So poor Shadowed. The Shadow Mage is like, well, they'll do this. What's up, Aradinal? So anyway, so I was playing with Speculate, our actual play podcast with Marie Spratis and Marie Bilodeau, Lauren Roy, and of course my co-host Mike Underwood. And Marie who plays the rogue in that Eberron little sort of mini campaign, was on point, like 25, 26, 24, 25, 22, 20, like just it was just dominating the die rolls. And we were expecting karma to sort of come back because overconfidence is a slow but insidious killer, but it did not happen. And so I don't know whether maybe there's a Canadian thing, Amal, where like, she gets the good rolls and you don't. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm sure you'll get it out of the way and it'll be fine. But yes, these lovely people that you see are going to be dealing with just a little small bits. Just there's little adventure going on. There's little issues, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Just speed bumps, basically. As we return to Wilderland Adventures of Darkness in the Marshes. Thank you to Cubicle 7 for sponsoring us. And with no further ado, I want to jump down to Trendane and ask Tren how he's doing and how awake he actually is, and how life has been and who he's playing, etc.
How awake am I? I went to sleep about 1:45, and then I woke up a little bit before 3 a.m. So, but on the plus side, in the ensuing, is that right? Ensuing time?
I don't know yet, but presumably
from then until now.
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay? Good, because my command of English is rapidly disintegrating.
Disintegrating.
No! We have to be so eloquent in a few minutes.
Exactly. I cannot comprehend a hatest, you God Magric death guy. What?
Stupid.
You dumb guy. Me.
Judy head. Anyway, I've been monitoring the Pseudopod podcast website, waiting for the last narration that I did for them to come up. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, it should have been up by now, I would think, given how long ago I sent it to them. And then I finally did something I never thought I would ever have to do in the course of narration, and I started reading. And I was like, oh, it was released on February 8th. It was just like buried in like a couple of lines in. It wasn't in the headline. So I okay. So that's up. You can listen to me the echo out of the drunk bot thing. Sorry, bright colors caught my attention. But Sunday, this past Sunday, we did episode 0 of our Highlander.
I was driving home. How was it? Was it good?
It was very good.
Okay.
It was very good. As I suspected, I didn't really get to talk about my character very much because as the villain, you don't want to, reveal everything that there is to know about him. But
wait, you're the villain?
I know.
You're the dude. You're the dude who's like in Highlander, who's like the big, behemoth guy. The one who's like, I'm Candy. Of course you are. Like that guy. Is that the one we're talking about?
His name is the Kurgan. Well, that was the name of the character in the movie, played by Clancy Brown.
I remember now. The Kurgan, yeah.
The voice of Mr. Krabs in SpongeBob. But anyway,
feel better, Shadow.
It's so cool to see the two of those. It's the same guy. But as Grimjack said in the thing, he said that he was debating whether or not to have the Kurgan make an appearance in our game. And after reading my character background for my character, he said, "You know what? We don't need that guy. He's nah." we got something better than that. I'm like, yes, you do. Um, so my character's name is Onye, the Mad Eagle, which is Onye is Russian for eagle. So
Eagle,
yeah.
the mad eagle.
Exactly. Yeah. And they were like, okay, so we'll leave, his backstory, we'll let it develop, because this coming Sunday is going to be Sarah McLeod. She's the main character. It's going to be her origin story and how she gets started in the whole thing.
Okay.
The second episode, the following Sunday, is Onye's, his episode for his origin story and how he winds up doing all of his stuff. So that's going to be.
So is he going to be jumping back and forth between like sort of the good and evil perspectives, or I mean, I'm being oversimplifying, but
Grimjack, or do you mean
Grimjack? Yeah, like because he's the GM, right? Like okay. So is he jumping back and forth like between?
It's possible.
Okay. Wow.
I honestly don't really know.
Okay.
The cast that we have assembled is fantastic. It's really, really good. The characters that we have set up are just amazing. But he said, okay, pick one moment that you can share with everybody. And we went around and everybody told one moment from the character's history. And the piece that I told was back in 1450. Anya was trudging up through Romania and all the little Prussian areas, and met a young man named Vlad, who he had a tremendous influence on his behavior, and who eventually became Vlad the Impaler. And so it's like, oh, okay, yeah, this is so much fun.
Awesome.
So much fun. Yeah, it's going to be great. So I'm playing Tonnebear the Hearthminder, probably kind of the opposite of Anya the Mad Eagle.
I was gonna say, I think so.
Yeah, maybe now. Yeah. Back when the Battle of Five Armies, maybe not so much. They were probably much more alike.
Spoiler, the huge reveal is going to be where you look slowly at the others and you're like, Magric, my brother. And it's like, you son of a...
Then you can go, I knew it.
I knew it.
Monsters all, no, they can't even joke about that.
My life would be devastated. No, that will not happen. I promise. I commit to you right now, Magric is not, in fact, Honeybird's brother.
Or is he?
Or is he? Yeah, no. Not so much. Okay. Well, this is awesome, Trent. I'm looking forward to it. And, of course, you will also can see trending on my my Infinity and Beyond Curse of Strahd campaign, which has also been kicking lots of ass. So much good stuff going on in that campaign, and oh man, I'm really digging that. So that is going on over there. Now, right below us is a person that I expected to be. I was like, yes, Will, and not so much, because, as I say, of the power in the internet situation with him. He's tried to connect a couple of times, and he's still working on it. So hear my cry, Belle from Canada, please prioritize. Don't prioritize hospitals and schools. Please make sure that Will's internet so we can play games. No. But in all seriousness, hopefully Will should be with us. We were all set to go, and then you guys got hit by normal weather for Canada, meaning a winter storm.
No, slightly abnormal weather. I will say it is going to be like a massive snowstorm. Like things have been getting preemptively canceled, which doesn't tend to happen here.
Yeah.
Like, classes and things like that are just being rescheduled, and I teach a course on Wednesday evenings, and I think I might just skate through on not canceling it, which I sure hope is the case, because I did have to cancel one for weather-related reasons a few weeks ago in a similar situation. So it is actually pretty atypical.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, my daughter is home from school today because of a snow situation as well. But it's been very little snow this winter, though, honestly. So, yeah. Anyway.
These massive climate change induced.
I know, exactly. Well, I mean, like, it's all totally normal to be at 10 degrees and then 50 the next week in February. I mean, that's totally normal, right? Anyway, so Will hopefully will be back with us. I am looking forward to hopefully getting Will back in. We will hope so. He plays Robar Staunton. If not, he should be with us in 2 weeks, I hope, because we were really excited to have the full crew back together, so hopefully that'll be the case. Moving right on down the line, we have, of course, Terry Tunes, who is with us. Germany, I guess, is not being hit by an enormous snowstorm at the moment.
Snow, I haven't seen any in years.
Okay, so Germany is just Germany. How are you, Terry? How's life in the universe, and who are you playing?
Life's good and stuff. Trying to think of anything exciting to tell. I can't think of anything. But yeah, like as far as snow is concerned, like we had like a little bit of snow a few weeks ago, but like it's like the type of snow that like falls overnight and then by noon it's gone. So not much, I guess. Um, and like the most snow we had, I wasn't in Germany actually during that time. So
Great.
I was in the Netherlands, and which granted doesn't have like weather that's much different from us, except for that it tends to be a bit windier and wetter. I guess. Wetter. That's a multilingual pun because wetter is a German word for weather, I guess.
Outstanding. All part of Terry's plan.
Yeah, obviously. But yeah, aside from that, I am playing Inge, daughter of Ida. She is a dwarf from the Erebor. She is a stonemason by trade, a wanderer, and she has a trusty pony sidekick who has not been with her currently. The plan was to reunite them at Mountain Hall, but things happened, which were not so great for us. So she is very much in a murderous mood right now.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I would say she's not alone there.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who are not happy, but I'm looking forward to seeing how Inge handles
I have an
things.
X-plate with Magrik's name on it.
Yes, exactly. Our boy Magric.
We should write his name across both yours and River's axes. Like start his name on one and then his name on the other, and just like go tag team.
Yeah.
Right, so that they meet in the middle, like with his full name. I would like to. I actually think we need to make names just like Magric. I effing hate that guy on the back of the shirt. Like, just have people like, who is this? You're like, it's a long story. Oh my goodness. Anyway, but I am very happy to have Terry back with us. You also see Terry next Tuesday as we do our next gamebook session, and then of course she'll be here 2 Tuesdays from now as we do the second session of this group. And last but certainly not least, of course, we have the also Canadian and just talking about the massive snowstorm on the way, but still warm in our hearts, and that's Amal, of course, with us. Hi, Amal, how are you? And same question, how's life, and who are you playing, etc.?
Thank you. Life is pretty great. Some very exciting things that I can't talk about have been happening, and I really look forward to talking about them. So I'm hopeful that perhaps by next session I'll be able to talk about them. But in the meantime, the joy these unnamed events have wrought in my life has been pretty great, and yeah, it's awesome.
Awesome.
Things are good, and also I'm very much looking forward to going. Well, weather pending. I am looking forward to going to join my husband in Scotland at the end of this week. So Thursday night, I'm supposed to be flying to Toronto, and then from there to Glasgow. No, what am I saying? From there to London, and then the plan is to like meet up with Stu for the 10 days that constitute my reading week, and visit family and stuff. And very excited about this. Hopefully, if all works out, I should be bringing home my small harp, which I have ambitions with stream-wise and
Ooh,
stuff.
I am excited.
Yeah. So I just because I have a big harp in the other room, but it's been a bit out of commission for a while because it needs some strings replaced, and I've been really dragging my feet about it for dumb reasons. But my small harp is a lot more mobile and a lot easier to fit in this room and take places and things. So I have commissioned a hard case to be made for it, and the hard case is apparently done and is being shipped there to Glasgow. So hopefully everything works out and it fits in it, and I can bring it home, and then I can start traveling with it and take it to places like Gen Con, maybe other places. It'd be cool. So that's my tender bardish hope. I play I play a fighty bard named The River, who is a woodsman of Rosgobel, and she and her trusty Hound of Mirkwood Stone patrol the Wilderland like wardens do, and try to help people in need. In this case, they would like to help Magric, who is in dire need of a slapping. So so I hope to be able to administer this desperately needed aid shortly.
I look forward to seeing how that all works. Yes, let us get our music fired up, and let's talk a little bit about what happened in our last session. As I unmute the sound of... Yes, there we go.
Yeah, there was a really creepy music playing, the spiders something.
Spider's Web by Mr. Kevin MacLeod. Yes.
Oh,
I
man.
can't
The
imagine
McLeod
why
McLeod?
I would have included that music. Let's say that again.
Back to the Highlander theme.
Right, exactly. It's got the subtitle Magrick's Vengeance. No, I'm just kidding.
Can be only one.
That's right. Anyway, so yes, these folks are back at the Mountain Hall after a very eventful few sessions where they left the Mountain Hall, went into thank you for the follow, Maddie. Went into the Dwimmerhorn, went into the Gladden Fields in search of the Dwimmerhorn because they were trying to seek details about this darkness that has begun to sweep over Wilderland. Radagast feels it and has sent them on this mission, and so they went off to do so, went to the Mountain Hall, and after a series of events, eventually headed south, while Robar, responding to a call for aid from his sister, ended up going north. He ended up rendering that aid and managed to come back to them at a good hour, because they, in the meantime, had arrived at the Dwimmerhorn and had to save some of the remaining slaves that were in that place. Most of them they could not save because they were dead by the time they got there, but the ones that were still alive, they did manage to, for the most part, save. But the reason that they were in this position at all was because they had been guided there by a man named Magrick, someone that seemed very friendly and jovial and jocund and all that good stuff, but turned out to be a dirty, rotten snake. Which is an insult to snakes, and did all these terrible things in trying to basically betray them. And it turns out that he had betrayed others, including the slave that they ended up finding on the way, who had escaped. In fact, it was when they actually saw this slave, this guy, whose name I continue not to remember. Yes, Walar. Walar, who they managed to save. Walar had told him that Magrick had basically done the same thing to him and many other of his companions. And so the party pressed on to the Dwimmerhorn, managed to, as I say, save the slaves and escape barely. And since then have been basically on the run, pursued by a large host of orcs emanating from the Dwimmerhorn, all the way back up to the Mountain Hall. In the meantime, they ended up, they had sent Lilliman away because they were concerned about Lilliman's potential health, and so sent Lilliman away, but they have become separated from Lilliman. Walar had Lilliman with him for some time, but then Lilliman had broken away at some point and raced off. And it wasn't really clear why, except that it didn't seem to be just based on fear, but based on something that Lilliman was doing. And Lilliman's always been a very intelligent pony. But we will see what actually happens with that. In the meantime, they are standing at the gates of Mountain Hall, and when they arrived, they found that the gates were shut. And standing at the top of the wall was the chieftain himself. First of all, the doorkeeper, Baronald, and a set of archers, a dozen archers leveling bows at them. And then Hartfast himself arrived and basically accused them of having tried to betray Magrick, having tried to murder his people, and basically telling them to be gone. And then, as the party looked at him in horror, they saw as Magrick himself came up next to him with this sort of not very pleasant smile and basically said, "You have committed treachery, and it is too bad that I managed to thwart your treacherous plans." To which the party was like, "God, I freaking hate this guy," and wanted him dead at all costs, and have since then been, I think it's fair to say, champing at the bit to get the son of a guy down. And so as we begin, and as I hand things back over to the party, you are standing at the base of the wall, and with you is Walar, and otherwise the entire party is there with the exception of Lilliman at the moment, standing back up at him. And just before I hand it over to you, I will say that Walar steps forward and says, This is not true, Hartfast. This is not true. These people helped me. They saved me there in the marshes. It is Magrick who is the traitor." And Magrick smiles and kind of whispers something to Hartfast, who... Hartfast doesn't exactly sort of, like, listen and nod, but he kind of just sort of hears him and then says, "The stories diverge at this point. I have been told that, in fact, it has nothing to do with Magrick. And I have others who have said that they saw mysterious actions in the Dwimmerhorn and that in the Gladden Fields, and that in some ways these people were responsible for it." And Walar sort of shrugs and looks at all of you and says, "But my presence here is proof enough." And Magrick says, "Your presence is proof only of your own treachery. Or did I not see you serving Gore the Despoiler, the head of these orcs who emanate from that place? He is the one who has been killing our people, and this one, Walar, betraying those to him. These, your lord," and he turns to Hardfast, "these, my liege, are the true betrayers. They are the traitors to our people." And so Hardfast sort of looks down at all of you, and again, the the archers are still like facing you. The last thing I'll say is that Baronald looks somewhat troubled by all of this. If you were just judging by his expression, like he has just this worried expression on his old weathered face, and in particular, Inga, excuse me, my voice. In particular, Inga, you can see that he looks at you, Baronald does, with kind of this worried expression, like he's uncertain, but he still remains silent. So now I will hand it back over to the party.
Can I? All right. Well, throughout this, River has been actually trembling with rage and growing flushed and like fever-eyed, as she is also exhausted and furious. And she raises her voice in the way that she's been trained to do and says, "Lord Heartfast, you have nursed a serpent at your breast, and it whispers lies into your ears. Magric betrayed us. We were on our way to the Dwimmerhorn when we saw Walar being pursued by orcs, trying to escape them, shackled, when this man shouted, 'Ambush,' as we lay in wait to apprehend them. And because of him and this treachery, we were only able to escape from that party by the skin of our teeth, before going into the Dwimmerhorn and mounting a rescue for as many people as we could. We have, at great cost, undertaken this to help you in friendship and fellowship. And if you do not believe us, I don't know what else to say."
And so Hardfast looks down at you, sort of his face impassive, and Magric sort of comes up and says, "If this is true, what you say, then explain where all the people are that you saved and rescued. Who are these people that you've been able to preserve? There have been none here, except your treacherous bird servants, the eagles, who you have working for you now. Yes, we made sure that we drove them off before they could bring more dangers to my lord. And yet, still you stand here at the base of our wall, speaking their same poison. It is as I told you, Heartfast. They would come and speak. And this one in particular," and he points at you, River, "this one in particular, with her golden songs, and her kind voice, and her bravery. This one is the worst of all. In fact, she's probably the leader of this little band." And so Heartfast sort of holds up a hand, and he says, "Peace. Accusations will be of no use here. I have been told now 2 truths, and yet so far the evidence that has been given to me is largely from Magric. I do not know what else to say, except that the evidence that is on his side seems to be stronger. Yes, I see Walar down there with you, but there has been no sign of the rest of our people, which I originally suggested you try to find. And, indeed, as we sit here, Magric has brought us some proof of what exists." And so he reaches down below the wall, and he pulls up above the wall this head, and it is the head of an orc that he holds by sort of just the top of its little, like, sort of scruff on the very top of its head, actually maybe an ear, and he kind of holds it up like this, and he says, "It was this that was brought to us by Magric, this treacherous orc that would have find a way to be able to invade our foundations. Our gates were open until Magric was here. Now, this is only one little small bit of the evidence that he's provided. There are many more orcs in there, more dead bodies that my men found, that, thanks to Magric, we were able to repulse before they were able to invade us. This is evidence that I see." Now, as by the way, one note, as you're looking at these heads of these orcs, they do indeed look like orc heads, and they look as if I mean, you can't tell really from this distance, but they look kind of a little shriveled, as if they've been dead for a while, these heads, so.
Did we was there any time to learn the names of the people who we were rescuing?
I don't think there was, probably. I mean, Walar might know some of them,
Right.
but yeah.
Oh yeah. Then Like Inge like turns to Valor and is like, "What were the names of the other 3 people we saved?"
And he sort of nods and he says, "That's right, my lords. Callus and Freda and Sendon. You know all 3 of them." And Hartfast says, "We have not seen Callus or Freda or Sendon, and Magric tells me that they never escaped."
We placed them on the back of an eagle who was helping us to escape. Those eagles who you've been driving away were no doubt carrying the people, again, out of kindness and friendship to us, in order to help them escape. Also, those were the last people alive in that place, because while there, we saw horrible pits full of your dead, all of them betrayed by Magric over a course of some time. He has been the person responsible for this all along, and I must say that you must hasten to admit us, because we have been pursued hard by orcs the entire time. The orcs that he claims we bring here are coming in pursuit of us as we escape them, because we together killed Gore, that Gore you speak of. We killed him with the help of one of your people who also could not escape, because with his dying breath, he managed to add what strength he could to our attack.
And there's sort of a moment's silence, and Magric says, "You note, Lord, the level of treachery that I warned you of. Now they would have us open their gates, come in under pursuit from the orcs, until, of course, once inside, they can treacherously set the doors and open them for the host that they are the vanguard of, the advanced scouts for. This is the treachery they provide," he says.
Magric, truly, you think we want to be admitted into this place where we find no friendship? Take Waller here, who is one of yours, and we clearly need expect no friendship here. We are not the traitors, and if you don't want to admit us, we who blew your horn with you, Heartfast, then we shall turn and leave. But do be warned that there are orcs on their way here, and take our warning as we give it, and we will have to go and seek other shelter as we can find it.
So, as you say this, Baronald sort of, again, has been looking more and more troubled during all this, and Baronald walks over and whispers in the ear of Heartfast. Magric is kind of looks at Baronald suspiciously, probably, like kind of is like, and whispers in his ear. And Heartfast kind of looks back and forth between Magric and Baronald. And finally, he just gives a short, tight nod to Baronald. And Baronald comes to the wall and says, "Inga, I have known you since you were young. And I remember when you first came here with your parents. I find it hard to believe that you would lie to us. Is what this person here says true? Can you look me in the eye and tell me that you have worked with us and not to betray us?"
By my honor, by everything I stand for, by the names of my parents, by all the gold and all the gems that you can find in the Erebor, I swear that what my friend here says is the truth.
So there's a sort of, Baronald looks at and kind of raises an eyebrow and looks at Heartfast, and Magric sneers and says, "Ha! So the dwarves' honor, the same honor that had caused them to abandon you long ago, Heartfast. Can we believe in the dwarves who spend their time in their mountains and mines caring nothing for the troubles of others? It has always been the woodmen who have saved the woodmen since the dwarves abandoned us. You cannot trust them." And Heartfast sort of raises a hand and he's like, "Nothing will happen if we begin to fight old wars and hatreds. I will not hear speak of this." And he looks back at Baronald and then back down to you. And finally looks over at you, Tawny, and he says, You are a Bjorning, and of all of the people here, you would seem to have the least connection to either us or to this place. You have stayed with these people. I have known many Bjornings, and they are fierce enemies and sometimes difficult allies, but I have never known them to lie. What can you say to support what has been said now by the dwarf and by our kinsman?" Pointing at the river.
What I have to say is simple. These people, I stand with them because they have on more occasions than I can readily number, saved my life, and I theirs. There is one thing which, and he looks up at Magric, says, some people have stated which is true, that if you are to allow the serpent within your walls, the betrayal comes from within rather than without. But in this particular case, you have already done so.
And he sort of looks down, and Barinald again whispers in his ear, and now you hear Magric sort of like whispering back to Barinald, and now there's obviously some dispute going on between him and Barinald and Magric, and Hardfast finally gives a low, like rumble almost, and they kind of fall silent. You can see now also that the archers are starting to kind of glance at each other a little bit, and Hardfast says, "These are words grimly spoken, but they sound as if they have the ring of truth. This silent Dunedain next to you. Always they are wandering the wild, and in most cases have brought support and help when needed. Would they do the same now? Would you stand with this party?" And I assume that Robar is just going to nod once, probably.
And kind of gruffly so,
Reveal royalty.
Exactly. Watch this. Yeah. So he does this, and Magric says, "As I told you, Lord, they would be both grim and sound true, but those things conceal the tongue of a serpent. I tell you," and Hardfast sort of shakes his head and says, "I am not interested in hearing more back and forth between the two of you." He says, "I will make this very simple." And he looks back at you, River. He says, "You have spoken about what it is that has happened. Magric has spoken the opposite. So I will simply ask you this. If I were to take Walar from you, let us say that I believed his story and felt that you were simply taking advantage of him, or that Magric was, or that something else was keeping him from speaking the way that he should. Let us say that I took him, closed the door upon you, and left you outside to face the orcs on your own. Would you run from them, fight them, or lead them into our hall? What would you do if I turned you away?" And he focuses on you very intensely, like he's waiting for your answer.
We would fight them, because that's what we have been doing all along. And we aren't about to change course now, with or without you.
Okay. I want you to make a persuasion check, and you're going to get a couple of benefits here. Walar is with you. That will help. The fact that you left as friends of the Mountain Hall and actually blew the horn helps. Also, you're clearly injured after battles with the orcs, and that helps. And you were a woodman. So you're actually getting this, and I'm only mentioning it because it's to people who are wondering about the effects of previous stuff in the adventure. So this is a negative 9 improvement on the difficulty of this check because of all those things. So I need you to make, now you can do a couple things, a persuasion check. You could also, if you wish, try to intimidate, or you could try to make a traditions check, but if you're going to make one, then it's got to be one that fits whatever you say. Like,
No, she's all the way persuasion.
Okay.
And so she is exhausted, but she's also inspired. So that's a wash, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
That is right. This music is perfect for this.
Jesus fuck!
Well, you are. Fortunately for you, the check was significantly easier than it would have been otherwise.
Okay.
So Hardfast looks over sort of the wall and then looks back, looks at you, and then his expression kind of softens slightly, and he leans back and he says, "These do not look as if they have falsehood within them. It is possible, Magric, that you too have been deceived in this." And you can see Magric's face kind of twist. He says, "Perhaps you have been deceived in them as they have been deceived in you. Perhaps there is something else to be said. We will allow them inside the walls and determine their fate once there." Now, he turns slightly to talk to Barinald, and as he does so, you see very quickly Magrick's face, which is in a sneer, something flashes in his hand, and something comes down upon him. Now, as something is flashing in his hand, you have a chance to react, but you're only gonna have a chance to do this, and you're gonna give me 5 real-life seconds to tell me what you're gonna do.
Well, River will go hard fast. I hope someone with a bow can do something else.
Yeah, I was about to say, is there enough time to get out my bow and like?
Better do it now.
Yeah, then I do that.
Okay, I'm gonna have you take now. You got to tell me exactly what you're doing, and I'm gonna let you know what's gonna be necessary for this roll.
So I'm assuming that Magrick is standing right next to Hardfirst,
Yes,
right?
correct.
And how far away is that?
Well, he's at the top of this wall, which is probably... Oh, God, how long was the wall? I think it was 15 feet high, maybe? Let me
No, it's
double-check
like
and
within
see.
my reach. That's what I'm.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, okay.
They are 400 feet above me. I will...
I said he's a poopy head.
Exactly. I see
Yeah,
your
oh,
face,
the
really.
hamster.
Oh, God, it's like being at the top of the garden. Anyway.
No, I have 1 point of exhaustion, but I'm also inspired, so that would like. clear
Those would
the-
compensate for those things.
Okay, so
Make sure you're using up your inspiration when you do that.
so I am trying to like basically aim for Margaret's shoulder. I guess would be the most
Okay.
best. Like I'm not trying to kill him here. I'm just like trying to stop him from what he's doing.
So what I'm going to say is that shot's going to be at -2.
Okay.
But not a disadvantage. It's a regular shot.
Okay.
Go, Inga,
Fingers
go.
crossed.
Go, Inga, go.
15? Yeah, -2, so 13.
So the arrow actually just sort of grazes and his arm goes up a little bit, and Heartfast sort of turns around, and then 5 archers are around the guy within 2 seconds and sort of drop his knife, and he's sort of like snarling at the top of the wall, and Heartfast looks at him with a cold fury. So, how many of my people have you led to slavery, you treacherous snake? How long have you plotted with my enemies? Damn you! If it is gold that you want, then gold you shall have. Take him to the deepest part of the gold mine and wall him up in a side tunnel. Let the traitor live in the same darkness as his orc friends. Open these gates! You can see, his voice is just suffused with passion. They, practically rip Magrick's head off, as he's sort of shouting and yelling. And they kind of pull him away, and Hardfast, and the gates begin to open. And as the gates begin to open, you hear a horn blast in the distance. And as you turn, you can see almost like a black ants kind of coming over the hills, this set of orcs coming in. And Hardfast is like, the gods, get them in here. And so they hurry you in, gates go up. Now, the bad news about all that is that it used up some time, but the very good news is that this was designed to prevent orcs from getting in. So, the gates sort of close, and within probably about 45 minutes, maybe a half hour, 45 minutes, the orcs are coming up to the wall, and you can see that the host appears, and it is a number of orcs. In fact, it looks like a good number of the ones that were in the Dwimmerhorn, probably 150 or so, that are coming up there. But arrows whistle from the top of the wall, and you see some of the orcs falling. The rest then sort of proceed more cautiously with these large tower shields that they hold in front of them to protect them from arrow fire. But when they get to the wall, they find that it is not breachable from here. Several orcs head up to the north and south. This is taking place over about an hour or so, basically looking along the sort of foothills of the mountains. And as you're watching this take place, Hardfast by this point has come back to the top of the wall and is watching with you as the orcs sort of roam up and down, and he laughs and says, "This will not be easy for them. There will be no getting through here so long as this gate is closed and my people live." And you see them kind of coming up now. Go ahead, Inge, if you want to talk to him.
So it goes up to Hardfast, Hardfast, you do remember last time we were here, and you heard those noises in the mines, right? And somehow some orcs got in. If you remember, I shot down one of them from the cliff.
He says, he nods.
I wouldn't be so reassured in that we are safe here.
He nods. He says, "You speak wisdom, Inga, but I have spent already some of my men up to see some of the holes through which those goblins snuck. That side tunnel that Magrick will spend the rest of his miserable life in is one of the last ones, and it is now sealed. I, in the meantime, have sent many of my scouts around to look at the perimeter of the inside of this hall. But nonetheless, we will not let our vigilance flag. I am happy, however, to see that at least an invading force from the outside will break upon this wall as waters would upon the rocks of the ocean. I am pleased for a change that we were ready for this attack. And as the orcs are sort of wandering up and down, he says, also, I am deeply sorry. I was led astray, I think, by my anger and rage and suspicion. When Magric brought the evidence of the dead orcs with him, plus the others that had always found Magric to be a true companion, I believed the worst. There were only a few who still felt that there was some uncertainty of this story, and Barinald was one of them. It is why I did not order you immediately shot and killed when you arrived at the wall. Barinald said that something was not right and that I should at least hear your words, and I did. But unfortunately, an old fool remains one. If I had been smarter, I would never have brought it to this pass. I am sorry and beg forgiveness.
We were also led astray by him and his charming ways. Those who deceive are usually practiced at such. I understand your suspicions, but I would not wish what we saw in the Drummerhorn on anyone. And my heart is troubled for the thought of those of yours who came by eagles that we sent, by one eagle that we sent, rather, and hope that they have found a place to land and shelter if you have not yet taken them in. They were in a terrible state.
He nods and he says, yes, if the eagles return, they will be allowed here, and I will again apologize to them. It appears that I will need to do some work with the Lord of the Eagles, but perhaps this treachery, once cleaned, can purge more than simply that. I wonder if this darkness of which we have spoken is something which poisons friends against friends. Perhaps this is the workings of the enemy. And that reminds me, have you learned anything of them? You said that many of my people were dead. I am sure that is true. But for the ones you have saved, I am grateful. And for those you have not, did you learn anything of who is causing these orcs to come forth? Who leads them?
Oh, what was his name? God damn it.
There was Gore, and there was that bad guy who.
Oh, Lockmund. That was his
Lockman,
name.
that's the one. Yeah.
His eyes widen. Lockmund? No, that cannot be. Lockmund?
He was one of the only. He was there working with the orcs, and I'm trying to remember now what they were like. What the factions were. Was he with Gore?
Yeah, he was with Gore.
Yeah.
And he was arguing with him over the other thing.
That's right.
You haven't mentioned
Looked
yet.
like he was in a position of power with them.
Mm-hmm.
And so Heartfast looked like his face just works, and he's like, treacherous beast. And he turns away. He is
He
Magric's.
did take an arrow to the shoulder for his trouble.
And he says,
And some
he should have
stabs.
taken more. Lockmand was Magric's brother.
Huh. Oh. I wonder. It did seem to me that Magric was troubled by the thought of someone lost to the orcs.
And he
I
nods.
tried to ask him about it, but he was not forthcoming, and shortly thereafter turned on us, making my desire to have compassion for him somewhat less.
He says, when Magric was screaming like a fool as we drove him into the walls, he mentioned this. He talked of how the orcs had broken him, of how they and his brother had betrayed him. I looked at him and put the last stone into place myself. No treachery, no amount of sadness is worth the traitorous behavior of Magric. If he had had the bravery of a true woodsman, he would have stood and died rather than betrayed his family and friends. There is no excuse for what he has done, and I wish I were there to watch him take his last breath. Heartfast, by the way, You can see, like, now he has a couple of guards behind him, and the guards, as always, always have this sort of quiet reverence, and you can see why. As he speaks, he almost looks as if he's kind of carved from the mountain himself. This kind of unrelenting, like, you know, this is not gentle guy, like, at all. I've been really dying to say that line. Hardfast was, man. Hardfast was.
Yeah.
And he, so he says, that said, though, I am concerned. Magric was not perhaps deep in our counsels, but he was one that seemed fully trustworthy. This is the problem. You too seemed trustworthy to me, and then you were in front of my walls, and I felt that you were perhaps traitors. I have no idea whom I can trust now, who should be one of my own people, and who might be one with the enemy. Will they divide us? Turn eagle versus Bjorning versus dwarf versus woodman until we fall to each other's throats? Perhaps the enemy might simply wait until we tear each other to pieces.
River looks to Tawny and Inga and Rabar and says, "There's certainly a shadow or a dark magic at work, and we saw evidence of it in the Dwimmerhorn. There was a temple there of black stone and a strange, unbreakable chain attached to a corpse. But did anything else? I felt like something was happening there. Even the orcs were afraid of it. But I only came in afterwards."
And he looks troubled, and he says, "Of these things you speak, I do not know, but I do know some days ago I stood upon the front gate here and looked out at the land beyond. And then there was a coldness, as if of a cold wind that pierced my skin. I shivered and felt for a moment as if despair was near, and then it passed over again. I have not spoken of it to those beneath me, to those under my command, or to my people, but it did not feel natural to me."
It seemed, if I recall correctly, some manner of ceremony or sacrifice. The prisoners they had been brought before this chained corpse, and those who were unfit they've been lost. But these last three whom we sent back with the eagle, we managed to rescue with the help of whatever the other guy's name is.
Waller.
Thank you.
No, the one who
Oh.
sacrificed himself.
Oh, we didn't learn his name.
Yeah, I never learned his name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is the unknown
Yeah.
slave.
He is the unknown hero in this.
Yeah, he was actually.
He really was.
And he shakes his head and he says, so many lost. I am the lesser son of greater sires. My fathers would never have allowed this to happen. These people to be brought one by one to this place. We should have raised an army, gone through until the gladdened fields was dried up from its filth and darkness, instead of here cowering in our halls, waiting for the hammer blow to strike. I have been a fool.
When he says fathers, River sort of just looks down and is briefly miserable, and then says, "There's no use in blaming oneself for what one didn't do, but we should instead think towards what we shall do. Robar, you were speaking of your sister and rallying people in the North. There may be more to speak of with that in terms of making friends who will be true and stand and fight by your side, regardless of what shadow lurks in the hearts of men today." Sorry.
I see what you did there. One quick note, by the way, Durable, thank you for the resub. 5 months. What's up? Welcome back, Durable. It's good to see you. Thank you so much for the sub. Thank you. Good to see you, sir. I'm sorry. So literally the sound popped over the last part of what you were saying. Can you repeat the last part of what you were saying?
The last thing I was saying was a cheekily quoted song lyric, but
No, but I meant right before that. Though.
Before that, she was saying Rabar was speaking of rallying forces in the north to help his sister.
And right, and that's right. So he says, I see. Well, if we can be sure that the orc threat is diminished, I owe you several times over for what you have done here. I will send my people forth if he is in need of aid, and we will do what we can for him. You need but give the word.
And now we have many promises made and many journeys still ahead of us. If it's all right, I think a moment's rest might be of use to us, as we've been hard driven this past day and these past days, right? God, how many days have we been running?
It was I think about 4 or 5, right? Or was it?
I spent 20 minutes on a rowing machine yesterday and I'm miserable. So.
Orcs are good at sprints, but not at long.
What, Trem? What was it? Was it 3?
It's 3.
It was 3. That's right, because you guys really pushed yourselves, yeah. Which is why you're all dealing with exhaustion and all that.
Yeah.
But we did manage to get that one long rest because that place that we stopped.
Yeah, because of the right.
That one distracting those orcs with carefully thrown rocks.
River is the hero of the night.
Hero of the night.
So so he sort of nods solemnly and he says, of course you will have place to sleep and more. We will do all we can to protect you, and I think now we can see that now that the main force of the orcs has been turned back, we may all sleep somewhat more soundly. And he looks and points, and you can see that the orcs now, the host seems to be retreating. They seem to be retreating back to the south as if they've just, this is not going to work. And so they are heading back into their place, and he says, Heartfast says, I would send my men after to destroy them, but now is not the time. We must gather them together, build our forces in the north. Perhaps between myself and the Lord of the Eagles, perhaps Tawny Bear, if Bjorn may be convinced, we can together bring an army together that would rival any of the ancient days and sweep through and end this darkness. But it cannot be done piecemeal. We must stand together as the free peoples of Wilderland, or we will all perish separately. And he says, these walls must become open again, as it was in the time of your parents, Inga. Again, it must be so. And so he turns and he sort of barks out some orders. And as you turn around to sort of go, a couple of the people, the door wardens, step forward to sort of confiscate your weapons, as was done before. And Hardfast is holds up a hand. He says, no, these people's weapons will never be removed from them again.
Aww.
Their vigilance is worth more than reward. See them safely to their place. So they take you to, they do not take your weapons. And this is, by the way, Inga, in particular, this is a big deal. That actually has not happened for decades. That anyone, no matter how well honored, has had this happen. And so you were assigned places to sleep in a house near the trading post. And you were given a chance to rest. I'm going to move over everybody to the map. And I want to just make one quick note, which is, despite all of what, the fact that it seems like things have been relatively happy, there is still no sign, Inga, of Lillimon, and there is no sign of either the eagle or of the 3, slaves that escaped on the back of the eagle yet.
I was gonna get to that, actually.
No, I figured you were.
So, first of all, after that is done and dealt with, Inga, turns to Robar and is like, we are gonna talk as soon as we have time, and then she, stomps off. Because she is still super mad about him leaving.
Rightly so.
Yeah.
He's like,
and then she is gonna go find Baranol, actually.
Okay. Are the rest of you making your way over to? Let me let me tell you where eventually you're going to be ending up. So he assigns you a place. Instead of being in the main hall, he actually assigns you a place that's right. I'll just put you there just so you can see it. Right over here, near this trading post. And I know not Ewing. I know. I'm just moving you for the second so everyone can see. So you folks are all there. Okay.
Yeah, River's gonna sleep, and she's gonna sleep curled up with her dog, and maybe cry a little bit because everything is extremely upsetting.
Yeah.
And it's a relief and stuff, and yeah, and she's gonna rest.
Stone, by the way, the minute you sort of just like head in lap, and falls asleep. Tani, what are you doing?
Is there a cooking fire in here?
No, but there is a cooking fire right next door in that hall, the large hall where you originally slept, the dining hall.
He's not that tired. He doesn't have any exhaustion. So he is probably going to rest a little bit, but he's going to go and get started on making more
Honey cakes.
He's almost out of honey.
Yeah, I was going to say, you need to restock. I thought I had you with 1 level of exhaustion, Tani.
So we all
You had no
gained-
shadow points, but...
I think we all gained a level when we arrived.
Right.
But
Except for Robar. Robar did not. Robar, I have at the moment, just as a quick reset, I have River as 4 shadow and 1 level of exhaustion. Inga at 6 shadow and 1 level. Tani at 0 shadow and 1 level. And Robar at 2 shadow and no exhaustion. That's what I had.
There was like a surprise level of exhaustion that happened at the very end. But maybe you had a honey cake because like a whole bunch of them had a honey cake except for River because she gave hers to so you may very well not have one. She gave hers to Stone so that he wouldn't be exhausted.
Right, but
one of us had to go without.
One of them had to go without, and I thought there were a couple
Inga
levels
also
that
went without one because she gave one to Valor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you gave
Because
some.
he was like completely famished and only living off rats, basically. So
Yeah.
Yeah. But
well, either way, I mean, like as long as Tani, what I would say is, as long as you're going to get, you can still probably do some baking, and still get a chance to get some rest. I think would be my guess. So I would say that at the end of this, all of you are going to have your exhaustion sort of freed. Although I'm going to want to hear what Inga has to say to Baranold. But
Baranold with a D in the end.
Baranold, yep. Okay, so I'm
always
gonna
write down names wrong.
Yep, yeah, it's Beranald.
Okay, now I got it right.
Okay. Let's see, I'll get rid of that lead point. Gained a level. Dun dun dun. Different kind of level. Okay. So, as you folks are doing this, as Tani is off doing his baking, and Robar basically is going to sleep for the first time in a while also. Robar, although people are understandably disturbed by his being absent, he has been doing quite a bit of nonsense on his own too, so he's definitely tired. So as you were all resting, you, Inga, head to find Baranold, who is, as is usual, waiting by the gate. One of the things that always struck you about him is that it seems like he very seldom seemed to even sleep. Like there may be a reason he was the door warden, because he just spent so much time seemingly awake and watching. So he is standing on the gate where Hardfast was, basically looking outwards.
Yeah, like Inga walks up to him and like just like stands next to him, like nods to him, and then like they like look together out on the lookout for a moment or so, and then she's like, hey, I really appreciate what you did for us up there. Like, I mean, I would have fought against those orcs, but it's nice to live for a bit longer. So, yeah, thank you really.
He nods and he says, I am only sorry that I was not able to do what was necessary to convince Hardfast before, but he is like the mountains, stubborn and unyielding, and his emotion perhaps got the better of him. He is a good and honorable man, and he is too hard on himself for any failures he possesses. But I simply knew that it could not be exactly as Magric had said. I had faith in what I knew of you. I am glad, therefore, that I had some job and role in it. But my heart is troubling. Look out there. And you sort of look out at the, now the moonlit, plains, and he says, it looks peaceful, but in the south, the darkness rising in Dwimmerhorn, and to the east, darkness rising in Mirkwood, and to the north, tales say, darkness rising again in Gundabad. Have we done nothing but simply delay our own destruction by several short years? All of this will come to nothingness in the end. How do we stand against that?
He is quiet for a moment and then says, I don't know. I guess we'll find out sooner or later. But I know I'm not willing to give up.
And he, without looking back, he says, are you worried about Liliman?
Yeah. I mean, I was already told he has not arrived here. I mean, it was already odd when we reunited with Valor and he told me that Liliman had stormed off on his own. I have no idea where he would have been gone.
He says, Liliman always struck me as very intelligent, though. If he went off on his own, he might have had good reason.
I guess so. But, yeah. I'm also worried about the people we saved. What happened to them, and a lot of things to worry about.
What of your home?
Yeah. I mean, about what you said earlier about what might await us out there. I haven't forgotten the promise I gave to Hardfast that I would travel back home to the Erebor and ask my people. And now what I've seen at the Dwemerhorn, I think I'm starting to get an idea of just how horrible the things that are in store for us might actually be, and not just for the people here, but for all people. And I just hope that I can convince King Dine to join these efforts. I mean, he is known to be a bit of, a bit like Hardfest, I suppose. Not easy to convince, but I'll try everything.
He says, there are some who say that dwarves would never have survived as long as they were not their heads as hard as the rocks from which they come. And he sort of looks back at you, but he gives you kind of a small smile.
And then, Inga just, raises her fist and goes, hasn't broken yet!
He nods and he says, no, indeed. I think that our kingdom will fall long before the dwarves do. Yet I suppose this suspicion and doubt, these gates and walls have done us no favors. In the end, it will be willing to speak to each other in the open that will save us, I think, more than doors and gates. And listen to me, I sound like an idealistic fool. I have guarded these gates, Inga, for 4 decades. For 40 winters have I watched over them. Now I am old. And yet even now, I would wish nothing more but to walk in the sun, free from lock and bar, free from barrier, free from wall. He kind of looks out again.
I mean, I know you have your work to do here, but I wouldn't mind, I'm assuming that, my friends have, their own things to do in the coming days, but I wouldn't mind getting another travel companion for when I travel back to the Erebor.
And he looks back at you and he says, me, you want old Baranald to travel with you to the land of Erebor. And he looks and he looks like he's about to kind of chuckle, and then he sort of gets very serious and he says, Perhaps I could go one last time. I think you would go much slower than your people are used to doing. Your hard heads would probably be less hard than the soles of my feet after all these years.
Well, I'm sure they can bear a horse, so don't worry about that.
He sort of folds his arms and he says, There was a time, very, very long ago, when my beloved Freya and I came to the doors of this hall, and we looked outwards and thought about places that we would go when we left Mountain Hall. When Freya was lost, I had very little that I could think of to do but to stay and protect these people in a way I could not protect her. When you lost your beloved, and he kind of pauses, he says, I don't know how you feel, but I have always felt a gap since then. It would be something to look upon the space of sunrise to the east, to see where they say the sun itself comes from. Perhaps catch a glimpse of my beloved in that sun before I pass from the earth myself. I will go with you, Inga. I thank you for the offer, if that is, Heartfast will allow it. But I think, given time, I can convince him to.
Well, I mean, it would be in his best interest to send one of his own people with me to negotiate. Like, you know, this is, I guess, what they call a diplomatic mission, so...
And he laughs. Diplomacy.
Yeah.
Yes. You and I, Inga, standing in front of your lord. The two of us, diplomats. Life is a joke in the end, is it not?
I guess so. And then Inga, like, yawns really loudly and starts to, like, stretch, like...
He says...
I have, like, slept barely in the past...
3 days.
billion days.
He's like...
We can talk tomorrow, okay?
He
I
says...
think I should probably go to bed.
Go sleep. Even the rocks and stones must slumber sometimes.
You're here.
Oh, God.
And then she, like, pats him on the back and walks off to go to bed.
And he nods, and your last sort of, look as you look back over your shoulder is him, his face, his old weathered face and white beard, lit brightly white like a covering of snow by the moonlight. Okay. So several
Nice.
nights back. Yeah, good sequence. Nice stuff. Nice stuff, Terry. So the several days and nights pass. The exhaustion does indeed go. There is no sound or sort of word or otherwise of orcs, but there is also no sign still of either Liliman or the eagle or the three slaves. And at one point, just before the third evening, when you're all about to head to bed, Walar comes to you and basically talks with you in low, hushed whispers for a while, and tells you that he's been considering the possibility of taking a small group of people and going out to try to search for the missing people, and is basically asking, talks with you about whether you might want to accompany him, or if not, whether you'd want us, you're sort of chatting about plans and possibilities. As he is sort of in the process of doing this, he looks much sort of stronger than he did even when you had first rescued him. And he continually comes back to feeling sorry himself about Liliman and feeling like he was partially responsible, even though, So he keeps kind of coming back to that and sort of shaking his head and kind of, saying that he really wants to find Liliman because he feels, blah, 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 blah.
And he goes, like, every time she's like, yeah, no, don't worry. Like, Liliman is, after all, a pony of the dwarves. So he thinks a bit like a dwarf. So has his own head. Tries to like reassure him with jokes, as you do.
And he does. He sort of chuckles. In fact, everyone in the hall has been in a relatively good mood. Seeing actually Hardfast actually smile a couple times is a bizarre experience, but seeing him kind of grin has been something about that. Tani, you've discovered that one thing that's unusual about this place is that while you have definitely cooked in places with higher cooking fires and more consistent, heating temperatures and everything, you've seldom had water as fresh and clean as what you find here. Like in terms of the consistency of the batter and everything that you're making, it's really extraordinary. And it's one of those things where you're like, man, if I could just bottle some of this and, and take more of it away. And you could take some of it, presumably, but yeah, so the honey cakes themselves have been particularly light and fluffy. All of you have partaken a couple times. They've also given you several feasts. The woodmen tend to not use a lot of meat themselves. They tend to use a lot more sort of vegetables and things like that. But they, yeah, I know. But in fairness to them, they do some delicious stuff with, now, before you laugh, fungi. And mushrooms and things like that, but also potatoes and carrots and things like this. So actually their stews are pretty goddamn good. And in one case, Inger, there's one night, actually just this night, the same night when Walar comes to you, when you're having this stew, and you think that finally they've like come around to meat again, because you're like, it tastes like sausage, and you're like, this is great, and you sort of, and at some point you're like, what is in this? And they're like, yeah, and they're like, oh, that's some of the best, and they basically tell you that the sausage you thought you were having was this kind of this type of mushroom, that sort of like this sausage oriented mushroom, and you're just kind of like, but it tastes damn good. I mean, it's,
I don't know how to feel about this.
Right. It's like, you're like, wait, what? This is, so as you, yeah, exactly. Fun. The fun guy. You seem like a fun, it's the joke from Romeo and Juliet. You seem like a fun guy. Anyway, that's a really great movie. One of the first I ever saw with my daughter, so it's near and dear to my heart. Anyway, so when you all go to bed that night, doing some of the same things, and I should ask, by the way, after that initial night of sort of doing things, what generally have you been doing in the evenings before you go to sleep? Like, Tani, have you been baking every single night, or like, what have you been doing? And
not necessarily baking, but helping with cooking and double checking all of the medical supplies and making sure that whatever he can do to improve the well-being of everyone here that he's doing.
River will have been actually trying to figure out how to contact Radagast and whether there's been any kind of reply from him to the things that they have already sent. If not, she'll be trying to... I mean, her thoughts are very much with her father in that tower. Trying to figure out like things about the lay of that land if she can from people who have been around there.
Mm-hmm.
She'll be trying to do that, and also just looking after Stone and making sure he's recovered. And if like talking of like search parties and stuff like that, as soon as she and Stone are up to it, she would probably be helping with that because he has a nose and all.
Right. So like coordinating it and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But mostly is anxious to get going, but recognizes that they can't until Lilimon is found.
Right. Go ahead, Terry. What's up?
Yeah, Inga would basically first of all be like busy like restocking on everything, like repairing her gear, whatever was broken, stuff like that. Making new arrows. Like I remember, like some time ago, she found like, oh god, what was that stuff called? Like some type of rock. It was called shale.
Yes.
Or shale.
Yeah, like what did I write down? Like gonna make these 8 arrows that you said she could make from that. Like finally she has the opportunity, so she's gonna make that.
It was on our way out when Lilimon hurt his hoof.
Yeah. So that is what she's making, and other than that, like getting more arrows in general, like basically preparing to get out again. And as soon as she like has like all her stuff ready, or like however like time allows it, she's also like going out for like Like, did they already like send out scouting parties that are like only like going like in the immediate area or something? That are like go out on a daily basis or something?
Yes, but not many. The scouting parties have mostly, because basically what Heartfest has been doing is trying to send messengers here and there to try to gather, basically doing what he says. He's trying to like, send out messengers to kind of, possibly put together groups that he can then send out maybe to help Robar when necessary, maybe to go south into the Gladden Fields. So he's been doing some kind of close by scout stuff, but most of what he's been doing is sending messengers out to kind of gather people together before they make a big push.
So if there are like any scoutings going on that like would like go within a day, basically.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Then she would join those, I suppose.
Okay.
As time allows it to like look for clues about Lilleman and like the missing people.
And one thing I want to note about that actually, Inga, is that it's not only that. It's surprising how there's no trace of anything that you can find other than like, obviously there's like animals in general, but it's odd that they would have just vanished completely. I mean, you think that you would have found something around there because you do a fairly thorough job, going out with some of the woodmen and looking around in these places, but you're not able to find any details of stuff that's like close by. And it seems odd to you that there's so little evidence of anything. Just seems strange that there wouldn't have been more of a mark somewhere.
Yeah, like that's like basically all she would do. And while we are at that, before we forget, what exactly do the shale arrows do again?
They break, right?
Yep. They break. They basically they are, once they pierce, they are almost like what's the name of those bullets? Those terrible
Flechette.
Is that what they're called? Flechette, that basically, like, once in the skin, they kind of
Shatter.
separate. It's really bad. It's basically like getting hit by shrapnel. And so that's more or less what these do on a lesser basis. They are very sharp, and when they hit, they basically pierce and cause more damage. That also means that you can't retrieve them because they break upon impact. But, that said, I mean, they're nasty. Not good against armor either, by the way.
That's what I was going to say, yeah. Like,
but against
against
flesh creatures like troll skin and things like that, those are what you want.
Yeah.
So, and what is it like in game mechanics? Like if they do more damage?
Yeah, basically they do double damage to creatures that do not have armor.
Okay, I'm
so
gonna write that down, that I don't forget.
I shouldn't say don't have armor. That do not have some of them have natural tough
like,
skin.
exposed.
Correct, but like not against metal or things like that. So. Is that what it is? Frangible, Aaron? Yeah, I wasn't something like So, okay. So after this discussion with Walar, all of you head to sleep again, sort of somewhat troubled in a way that you haven't been in a while, just because you don't know what, like, still you're waiting for Lilleman, as the River already said. The River would really, really like it if, he could get moving and get back to her father. You're supposed to report to Radagast, and they're just like, man. And, Tawny has felt just sort of generally somewhat tired, and is kind of like, man, this has been rough. Robar has been himself very anxious to kind of deal with what was going on with his sister and like all that stuff to the north. And so everyone is kind of occupied with their own thoughts, and yet here they are. And as they're going through, well, not quite Aradinel, because also leather armor. Basically creatures that just have natural skin. If you're talking about hags or trolls or things of that nature. The only exception to that would be dragons, because dragons basically have the equivalent of armor. But other things like that, ogres
Like
and
wargs?
so forth.
Wargs as well?
Depends on the orc. Oh, wargs
No,
for sure.
wargs,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, wargs would be completely affected by these. Yeah.
Oh, I want to add to those arrows. Like, remember, like way back in one of our first adventures when we found these black pheasants in the forest?
Hmm?
I still have some of those feathers.
Oh,
So I'm gonna use those black feathers on the arrows.
Okay.
Because then they are gonna be like evil-looking black arrows in there.
Okay, I dig it. How many of these, now how much, I'm trying to think about the amount of shale, because I would say, do you have a list
You
of
said
how
like
many?
4 8 arrows. That's like what I wrote down.
How many?
You wrote, like you told me back then, that
8?
it was enough shale to make 8 arrows.
Perfect, yep, that's right. That's what I would have thought. I just want to make sure. Okay, yep. And that's enough feathers, too. So you have 8 black feathered shale arrows. And
Cool.
you're obligated to say, Black Arrow, I have saved you to the last. Just at some point, you got to do that, whenever you fire off an arrow. If ever you came
I
from
write
the
down
from the
feathers?
forge of the true king under the mountain, go now and speed well.
So I'm out of feathers now, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know why I said yes. I just anticipated that that's what it was.
You put the last one in your cap, I assume. I have my own arrow.
Well, she doesn't wear a hat, so...
Okay, that's fine. That's true.
But
All
she
right.
did, like, way
You can make a
earlier, she
quill out
gave,
of
like,
it.
some feathers to, like, oh god, what was his name? Like, the innkeeper, the halfling, the hobbit innkeeper, like, Dindy or the other one?
Dindy?
Dindy or the brother? Like, I don't remember which was which, either one. Like, the one with the kids, anyway. Like, she gave, like, one of each to the kids.
Oh, Dodie. Yeah, I think Dodie.
Dodie.
Yeah.
Dodie,
Yep.
and yeah, I wrote down the names somewhere, but I have, like, a billion notes, so...
I intentionally deleted the names after.
Y'all are too hard
Deleted
on
the memory.
Okay. So when you fall off gradually to sleep, as I say, all sort of uncomfortable with sort of, you know, these various thoughts and feelings, night passes in the way that it normally has. And then I want everybody to make, let's see, actually I want to double check. I want to check everyone's character sheet is what I want to do. I'm going to let the chat not see this for just a minute while I check something.
Why do I have a silver ring written in my inventory? I don't remember getting a silver ring.
I assume that...
And a folded letter? I should really keep better notes on my thing. I don't know what all of this stuff means.
I honestly almost said, how dry is the ink? How recently does it look like it was written? It feels like you found it in the wild hobbit hole.
The ring?
Yeah.
Ring, yeah, that could be. Maybe? No, I got that thing like way before we got to Radagast, so that doesn't make sense.
Okay.
It's not like a
I
wedding
still have
ring?
like the empty
Not
box
like-
where like we had the speed powder in
Mm.
from Radagast, but yeah.
I'd have to go back and look again. I don't
Like
remember.
if it wasn't special, then it's probably just like a random silver ring. So
Yeah, yeah, I think probably more likely that. Okay, I just want to double check something.
like I remember I threw that evil amulet away after that dream sequence.
Yes.
Because Inga was spooked.
When so in the middle of the night, Inga, you were sleeping when you were having a sort of an odd and sort of unfortunate dream where you were standing on a hill and you see Lillimon is walking up towards you, but then keeps kind of sliding down, and you keep reaching out to try to get to him, and then he kind of slides back down again, and you hear him every so often neighing or sort of whinnying. And then as, you know, but his neighing gets louder and louder, and then you wake up, and you swear you hear in the distance this, like this, it sounds like Lillimon's neigh. And then you
So-
hear, right outside the house, right outside where you all are.
So Inga, first of all, like when she wakes up, she's really confused. Like a lot of you guys probably know that when you like had a weird dream, that when you wake up you're really disoriented, right?
Yep.
So like that's basically what happens to her. Like as soon as she like starts to realize what like actually going on, she like gets up and goes to check what the noise is outside.
Okay.
Are any of us woken by this at all? Or
Not yet.
Okay.
So Inga, as you get close to the door, you hear, "There's some ready, right? There's not," and it sounds like something is counting, but in a language that is not familiar, or should I say, familiar but not well known to you.
Oh no.
Right.
Okay, so
But
okay, Inga like runs up to the other guys and like basically like shakes everybody awake like without
and the
being
door
loud about it, and
bursts
grabs their
open
axe.
as you're doing that. So you wake them open and the door bursts open, and charging into the room are 4 orcs. 2 orc soldiers and 2 sort of like stooped over ones that leap into the room. I'm going to put up the initiative tracker,
Yeah, I was about to say.
and
And-
I'm going to have us roll initiative.
Is this
Don't
another
forget
dream?
to click your icons.
It's a dream. No. At least you don't think it's a dream.
We never think it's a dream except for the one time that we do. So sorry, click the icon that's actually on the page, right?
on the map.
On the map. Okay. Click icon.
And then like there should be like a blue box around it, and you get a bunch of icons popping up.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you click initiative.
And then I click initiative. Okay.
Like so. Oh, wow. Inga is very busy waking everybody up.
Oh god. All right.
Yep. Hey! Everybody get up.
Okay.
Like she probably like got like so surprised by like the door opening that she like stumbled over her own feet and like dropped her axe on the floor or something.
Could very well be. Hey, what's up, Echo? How you doing, man? All right.
I'm telling you, my rolls are compromised today. My attempt at expiating this through the physical dice.
It's not doing it.
I think it's helped, but whatever. I'd rather have a low roll on initiative than later on.
Yeah, that's true. It's kind of minimized what would have happened otherwise, I guess. Okay. It's harm mitigation. All right. All right.
The killing.
Okay. Now, so let's see. I was just about to say that, Aaron. Now, none of you have your armor on.
Oh shit!
And
That's actually really bad for me.
yeah, none of you have your armor on, and
No, I sleep in my armor actually.
at all times, even all the no,
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah,
so.
because I am a master dwarf.
Bullshit. Excuse me.
And
Yeah,
I
you
also get like bonus armor class points because I didn't take a bath in a while, and we all know that like for dwarves, dirt counts as armor.
this is
So-
extremely clever and completely vetoed. So,
Oh well, worth a try.
Why is this happening? I wanted us to go into a fellowship phase. But oh well.
What is my fucking armor? Oh, sorry.
hang-
What is
hang
my
in there.
hacking armor class?
Yeah, I was gonna say you have to see what your unarmored class it is. Actually, probably Tani will be least affected by this because Tani's just kind of like, I don't. This is the problem with wearing this crazy armor to begin with.
Oh, my character sheet is doing that thing again where it keeps resetting my armor class. It acts like I'm not wearing armor.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Buy padded armor, comfy, warm, and 24 hours of protection like deodorant. There you go.
I should
All right.
like write down what like my armor is with, like what my armor class is with and without armor, because I
Uh,
get bonuses
Jesus.
for wearing armor.
Give me 1 sec. Got a phone call I gotta take. I'll be right back.
I actually want to make an argument for River sleeping in her armor because she has magical armor and it's called feathered armor, which means that it should be like comfortable. That's what I'm gonna claim. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it because I think otherwise her armor class is 3. And I don't want that. That would be bad.
Wait, 3?
I think
You
so. I mean,
automatically get 10, so
oh really?
you have like 10 plus your dex plus your armor.
Oh,
And, like your type of armor determines how much your dex bonus can be. So how much does your armor give?
my armor gives 13.
What?
And so have I like just had wait, well that's what's like oh no, sorry, never mind. No, I'm looking at its weight.
Okay.
It's never mind.
It weighs 13 armor class.
That does definitely help. Okay, so gosh, how do I know what it gives?
What feathered armor? We're just gonna check the book because Arf is busy anyway. So
Okay.
and I have like nice little tags in my pages for like all the important things, which really helps.
I feel like maybe is it even in here somewhere? Armor.
Armor. Aha, feathered armor. You said.
Yes.
Oh, that's like a special armor, right?
Yeah.
It's weapons. Not weapons.
Oh, here we go. Treasure, feathered armor, feathered corselet. Oh wait, it doesn't actually say anything about it. Okay.
Wait, doesn't it?
No,
Where did you
it-
find? Oh, that's. I see.
I just on my sheet it doesn't say anything about it. I thought it did in the
Oh, cultural heirlooms. I assume that is.
Yes.
Barding's.
Oh, it was like a gift from Radagast sort of thing.
Yes. Dwarves, elves, hobbits, men of many places, woodmen of the Wilderland. Is that you? That
Yeah.
sounds like you. Feathered armor. Radagast the Brown has blessed these suits of armor with his cunning, and now they don't seem to make sound when worn, whether they are made from animal skins or rings of steel. When wearing this armor, you gain a +1 bonus to armor class in addition to the normal armor class of wearing that type of armor.
Huh.
So basically what you do is you choose the type of armor you want, and then you attach like the So, for example, if you get like a leather corselet, then it's going to be a feathered laser corselet.
Yes, I think that's what it is.
Okay, so
I think that's what it is because I think that she was only allowed to wear leathered stuff in a frugal something or other.
So a leather corselet is 12 plus dex modifier. So, and what is your dex modifier?
It is what? Question 3.
3. So you have like 15 plus a +1
Right.
of the thing. So you have an armor class of 16.
Right. So without the armor.
Without the armor, you just get your dex bonus.
So that's 3.
That would be 13 armor class.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So it is in fact the same as my weight, as the weight that it does. Because
Okay. So with armor, you have 16, and without, you have 13.
Oh, without I have 13.
Yeah. Because you get your dex bonus.
Oh, I see. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, that's
Like,
that's
because
better.
it's like basically,
had my
this
numbers
is how
flipped.
good you are at evading attacks, and that counts as armor.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. I had it the other way around, so that is excellent. Hooray. That's better. It's still not great, but it's better.
Okay, now I need to recalculate my own armor class because of the
Keeps
stupid
resetting.
bug that Roll20 gives me.
Ooh, hiss.
So that's without armor, I have 12. Okay.
I think Robar's is wrong as well.
Oh, is this also glitching out?
Well, I think so. I mean, he is normally wearing hide armor,
Yeah.
which is 12 plus his dex modifier, which is 2. So that would be 14 with the armor on. Because it's 10 if you don't have any dex modifier, right? It's just
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the base
got
is
a
10.
+2, right? His base is 10. He's got dexterity +2. That would bring up to 12.
Yeah.
Plus the 12, or he would be at AC 12 plus his dex modifier, which is 2. So that would bring him up to 14 if he's wearing his armor.
Mm.
But he's listed as 12.
Yeah, then maybe it has the same bug.
Oh.
Okay, let's see. My armor gives me how much? Where did I write it down? I have a corselet of mail, which I did not write down how much that actually gives me. Amazing.
Mine is actually correct.
Well, are you actually wearing armor? Because, like,
Not
Are you?
right this second. I mean, he
no, I
just
mean
wears-
generally.
he just wears a leather jerkin.
Okay, so I have a corselet of mail, which gives me 13 plus my dex modifier, but maximum of 2, which is fine because I only get +2. So that is 15. +1, because I am a dwarf. And like defensive fighting style, which gives me a +1 when wearing armor. So wait, that was 16 then, right? Yeah.
Sorry, I'm
Actually,
looking
really
at my-
good that he had his call right now, so that we were.
Yeah, so
able
we can
to
figure
do
this
all
out.
stuff.
I've just been following up on whether things are being cancelled. So there are 2 universities in this area, and one of them is canceling classes starting at 4 p.m. tonight until 4 p.m. tomorrow, and the other one is going from 5:30 till 5:30 tomorrow. And my class is at 5:30 on Wednesday at the one that is canceling it until 4. So there's just kind of like all this nonsense.
I'm
So
very, very sorry that I had to take that call. I'm just going to tell you this very quickly because it's kind of amusing to me. This is in relation to a speeding ticket that I got yesterday. I've not gotten a speeding ticket in 25 years. I don't know. And it was on my way to work. And I work at St. John's. And so I was talking to the guy and I told him all that. He's like, I'm also going to give you a significant discount. I was talking to the attorney, and he's like, this isn't, we'll deal with this. He's like, also, I'm going to give you a big discount because I'm an alumni from the St. John's School of Law. I'm like, yeah! Like, so that was pretty cool. I'm like, good. Something that's been good as a consequence of it. So I'm sorry I had to talk to him
Natural
today
20.
because it was.
It's okay.
Yeah, it was basically a natural 20. It was really funny when he said that. I'm like, thank you very much. He's like, we got to stick together, blah, blah, blah.
So
it's funny.
also pretty cool. But from our side, while you were on the phone, we determined that we each have armor class of 45.
Ah.
Yeah.
So
That's
Exactly.
cool. That's
Double
We
great.
actually
check the
You know that thing about it
combined-
being a dream? Yeah.
We combined into a kind of D&D Voltron, and we are just gonna have one armor class that is combined through all of us, and we'll be basically unbeatable. That's our master plan.
Okay, that's good. The good news is
But
that I
it's the
mentioned that they have a
Voltron with
cave
axe
troll.
instead of a sword. I would
Yeah.
Oh, great. Yeah,
Awesome.
great. Yeah, that. Well, who said lawyers
The
have it
axe,
hard? Yeah.
the axe can be like the wings of Robar's sword. Like, you stack them on top of each other, and then...
Now you're reminding me
yeah.
of the Bard's Tale 4 that I've been playing. Which, by the way, now I know that you don't have time for this because you're a busy bee with all the stuff you're doing with the dissertation, Amal. But I have to say, if you ever get a chance to play the Bard's Tale 4, at the very least, listen to the soundtrack because it's all of this Gaelic and Irish music, which is so good. Like it's just really awesome. And it just reminded me a little bit of you being the fighty bard. So anyway, you get a chance
Hooray.
to listen to it. Yeah. Okay. So I apologize to chat and everybody, but I had to fight the man. So. Let me make sure that I get this out of the way quickly, and then we'll figure out what's going on with initiative. Okay, there's 2. Right, it's one amazing song. Yeah, pretty much.
Oh yeah, but also we found out while you were busy that apparently Robar's character sheet is also glitching out and not showing the correct armor class.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's showing the correct armor class right now that he's not wearing armor. Yes.
Yeah.
But
But
it's
when
not
he is
showing
wearing
otherwise.
armor, it is too
So
low.
There's been some
Might
weird
be a
stuff
glitch
going on
with
for a
the
while.
Wanderer class actually in the thing because I have the same bug and we have the same class. So.
I see. Okay. Yeah, that's
But I wrote down now what my armor classes should be. So.
okay. I'm just making sure that I got this. Okay, so now I think
Beats pen and paper.
this is right. So I've got Robar at 20.
Yeah.
And I've got Tawny at 17.
Right.
And we've got the River at 8. And we've got Inga at 5 because she's trying to wake, as you said, she's trying to wake everybody up.
Then, like, when she tries to grab her own eggs, she just, like... How do you describe that? Like, when you try to grab a thing, but, like, accidentally knock it over, and then, like, you do this whole juggling thing of, like, trying to
Bumbling.
catch it, and it, like, goes...
I describe that as a
Bumbling.
typical
Back and
morning.
forth.
What do you mean? How do I describe it? The thing is, too, after you do it, I don't know if you find this, but after, I'm just putting initiative on my notes here. After you do that, I often find, like, I go back, I'm like, how is it possible that I was so stupid to do what I just did? Like, how is it possible that I worked out the way to somehow knock over the cup from the place over in the, like, how did I, what is that even? And I'm not particularly a klutz, but sometimes I do that. I'm like, I am a moron. So anyway, yeah, the early
I
AM
am a
coffee
klutz
style.
and a moron.
And a moron. That's cool. Okay. So we will begin with Robar. So I'll try to put these things up, although it's going to be mostly theater of the mind. Now, the problem you have right now is that this place is very small. So you have very little room to maneuver. Basically, you are sort of lying on your beds with the exception of Inga. And as you run in, this place is probably about, oh gosh, maybe 30 by 30. It's pretty small to fit all of those people in there. And as Robar is looking, Robar thinks he can see someone kind of standing at or inside the doorway. Basically, they ran in and sort of slammed the door behind them, which is interesting because it suggests that there's not some large invasion force. You hear all the sound inside here. If you had to guess, it sounds like these people came for you. So, that's what we're...
dead or not?
I'm sorry?
I can't remember. Is Lockman dead?
You didn't see him die.
Lockman was not dead. You don't see him yet, but you can't see everybody.
Yeah.
He was badly injured, but we did not see him die.
Okay.
Correct.
All right.
So he's not dead because we are all genre savvy. So
Right.
rule number 1: if you don't see a character die, he's not dead.
Yep. Yeah, River should really be up on her, like, tropes.
Yeah.
Just be like, no, we have to kill him. Walling Magrick up is not enough.
He was only... There's the true boss. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so yeah, so Robar, which I think, are you Jaegering him, Tren?
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
so what's Robar gonna do?
Well, Robar, yeah, we're behind the walls and everything, but we've already seen goblins get in here once, and despite the reassurances of "that's okay, we checked, we've sealed everything," no, he is sleeping with his sword right next to him, and I mean, his bow is not as close, but within this space, his bow would be a disadvantage anyway. But his sword, that he's got at the ready. So
Okay.
he is up and heading for the closest target.
Now, there's two, so since it's a target-rich environment, you've got 4 orcs here. 2 of them look like they are orc soldiers. They are carrying bent swords, and they have what looks like sort of very basic leather armor. These do not look like people that are sort of heavily armored for fields of battle. They look like people that just, they look like creatures that are designed for stealth, basically. Also, Robar notices, actually, have Robar make a perception check for me, please, as he runs towards them. Okay. Yeah, he sees a little bit of what looks like maybe dirt on them. Like dirt sort of on their clothing and, armor and so forth. So, there are basically, there's these 2 orcs, what look like these orc soldiers with the bent swords, and small little bucklers. And then there are these 2 creatures that have this, they have basically a dagger, and they have these weird leather masks over their face. You can tell they're orcs by the rest of their body, but they're thinner and spindlier and closer to the ground, and they move very lithely, like they're just sort of, kind of almost, their bodies almost undulate a little bit as they move. Not standard orcs that you have recognized before, although they're definitely orcish skin and bodies and so forth. So there's 2 of those and 2 of the other guys that I mentioned.
Okay.
I'm gonna look up what undulate means.
Undulating is like what it's
Doing this.
It's like what the way that a snake moves is it undulates.
Yep.
It's like a wave, basically.
Yep. It's like how Magric used to walk, right? He just undulate. Yeah, he's just a little
He's
snake.
probably still walking now.
Okay, so, but my dictionary tells me that means that it's like an animal with hooves. So,
No, that's
No, not ungulate.
Yeah. Sorry, the difference is I'm putting this in chat. Ungulant versus undulate, like that.
Although now I wish I had kind of said that. You
Undulate,
see them
okay.
like...
That explains
Yeah.
the neighing.
oh,
Oh, man.
oh
Okay.
yeah, the German word for that is undulieren, which doesn't tell me anything about me.
Outstanding.
Great.
So Tren, what is Robar? So Robar's going for whom then?
I
so
think
he's got-
Robar's going for probably. Do we like? Where are the 2 standard versus the 2?
The 2 standard seem to be sort of more up in front. The 2 others are like accessible, but are kind of stepping back a little bit.
Well, what he wants to do, what his preference would be to get into a position where one of the standards is in front of him, and as much as possible, the 2 freaky ones are behind them, so that they would have to come around their compatriots to get to it.
Okay. Okay.
So he's attacking one of the standard ones. but
Okay, that's reasonable.
trying to keep the
All right, let's make it happen.
plan, basically. Okie dokie.
Bring down the
Long
madness.
sword. He's going to attack with a long sword.
Oh,
Sick.
That's Tony's new noise.
right on the edge of that other.
voice.
He kind of swings, but the creature sort of manages to like jump back. Robar, although he was ready to go, is he's trying to be careful not to cut everyone else down. I had a discussion with someone last night when we were playing about the asymmetric nature of good people that don't want to hit people around them versus bad people who don't care who they hit, and the sort of issues of that. Anyway.
Well, it really works though because we all work on like basically 3 different levels of height, right? You have like Robar and River who are like medium height,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then like Tony who's really tall and Inge is small. So like basically only River and Robar need to look out for each other, but
Yeah.
like Tony and I can
Yeah,
just go for it.
Oh yeah.
Right?
This is an interesting way of looking at it. However, that doesn't remind me that I hadn't put the AME crew, Terry's amazing drawing up there. So now I did. You can actually see those height differences right there.
Yes.
See, that's what they look like, folks, if they had their armor on. But yeah. So okay.
While you were on the phone, I was gonna make a stern argument for the fact that that River sleeps in her armor because she has a feathered corselet. And it is a magical one that Radagast gave her, and it has literally the word feathered in it, so I'm sure it's extremely comfortable.
Yes, but everything needs to get washed eventually. I'm pretty confident that eventually,
No, because
especially
dirt means
since
an extra point to armor class. I said that earlier.
Let me introduce you to a Mal of several moments ago where it was like, we haven't slept in forever, and I would really
It's
like
fine,
to
it's
sleep and be
fine.
comfortable.
It's cool.
Okay, so next up is Tani. There's no reason to tell me where Robar moves because there's no place to move. He's just there. So Tani, you are up now. Again, like close quarters. Robar is engaged with one of them in front of you. You can still get to others, but this place, although you can stand up without having to crouch, there's not a lot of side to side room. So,
but there's still enough overhead space for Tawny to come in and swing in with his.
Could he go like this?
Yeah, I would say so. I think if you were trying to bring, you couldn't hold it towards the bottom and have it all the way up at the top and go this way, but if you were kind of choking up, as they say, on the thing so it's not as much on top and not bringing it over your head double-handed ox chop down, you know what I mean?
No, I think what he's doing is he's got his hand at about halfway and another hand down at the bottom.
Yes. Yeah, because
counter.
that's side. Oh yeah, yep, agree.
Okay. So he's smacking away at. He's going to try to kind of sidestep a little bit so that he is next to the other orc that is not, or that Robar didn't attack.
Right. Yeah.
So if the four orcs are like this and Robar is here, he's trying to stand here so that this orc is kind of flanked, but not really. But he's mainly going for one of the noodly ones.
Right.
In
Okay.
Is who Tawny's going for. Is one of the ones that looks like this. This is not normal. This is bad.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, normal is bad enough, but this is worse.
This is particularly bad.
Yes. And 13.
13, and I'm sorry, and it was on one of the soldiers, right? That was.
No, it's the noodly ones.
Oh, it was the noodly ones. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. Yes, that hits.
Okay. Then he's gonna do 2 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay. When you hit it, it makes this strange kind of grunt below its mask. These things look like not very strong, or at least not strong in terms of like constitution strong. And so, but they, obviously they don't fall over from 2 points, but you kind of are like, well, that's interesting. And now the 2 orc soldiers step forward. One swings his bent sword at Robar and one at Tawny. We'll start with the one that's attacking Tawny. That is going to be a 21 to hit.
That will hit.
Okay. Now, that's going to do 5 points of damage to you, Tawny, and I need you to make a Constitution saving throw because something on the blade burns as it cuts into your skin. Yeah, unfortunately, that is not going to get it done. So you are poisoned by this thing, and this sort of venom drips, evil green-looking venom drips from the end of the blade. And what that means in terms of effect is, give me 1 second. It's like, find the venomous. They have the poison condition. I'm like, yes. What does that mean in Adventures of Middle-earth, please?
Does that mean you lose points every turn?
No, it probably is going to create disadvantages on attacks and things, I assume. Okay, I think, actually, it's in here. Bear with me a second. I have not run into poisoned in Adventures of Middle-earth yet, so... And you'll all be happy to know that all of you will be dealing with this situation. So
Of course.
No,
we're all going to
I
learn
won't.
together.
I'm a dwarf. I have
That's
natural
true.
resistance to poison.
That's fair. Yeah, you're like, you laugh at poison. Well, resistance does not automatically mean no, but yes,
Poison.
it's very difficult. I would agree. Okay, when you are poisoned, no, not when you're petrified, when you're poisoned, you have disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks. And the problem with this is that okay, that's what I'm looking for. The problem is that you can't save out of this anymore. So once you get this, you have this condition for the duration of the battle until you can be dealt with later on. Unless, although the only exception to that is, I'd need to double check and see if one of your honey cakes can remove that condition. I don't know if it can, but other than that, you're pretty much out of luck once you get poisoned by these. Also, hi, Marinda. Okay, so you feel that. So again, disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks. The second one attacks Robar and is going to get a 18.
Hit.
Okay, so that is 4 points of damage to Robar. And again, he will also need to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
$17.
Okay, so yeah, he feels this sort of, but he kind of like, his something about him. He's just and he kind of pushes away. His long life and sort of Dunedain constitution has made it so that he's dealt with this before. It's a fairly basic kind of poison in a lot of ways, not some unusual one. So he's basically like Wesley. He's just like, I've spent the last few years building up an immunity to arcade power. And by the way, I did not meet him, but I saw in person Wallace Shawn this weekend because I was at Farpoint and he was the guest of honor. So he walked right past me. Yep.
Nice.
And yes, that was cool. It was.
Oh,
I did not say inconceivable as I walked past him, although it was tempting.
He's never ever heard that before.
I know. I bet he never gets that at all. Okay. River, you are up, and Stone, and then after you, and then Ing is on deck.
Okay. So River is, as she's grabbing her axes and jumping to her feet, actually shouting, "Awake! Awake! We're under attack!" To try and rally attention from outside.
Mm-hmm.
And then do the small wiggly ones also have? They have daggers, you said, right?
Yes, the wiggly ones have daggers. The orc soldiers have these bent swords.
Okay. But they conceivably would all be tipped with poison.
How many people are there? It's just 3
4.
attackers, right? 4
Four.
attackers.
4 attackers, but there's something or someone maybe behind them that you can't see.
In fact, and the door is shut behind them, right?
Yes, that's why
And-
there's so little room to maneuver.
Right. Okay, and the small slithery ones are the ones near the door?
Well, they're farther back than the 2 in front.
Okay, River is going to go for them, and so will Stone, and in an attempt at getting towards the door, because she wants to get that door open and shout further and see what's happening outside eventually.
Okay.
So she's gonna go in with her axes.
And and you are for the soldiers, yeah?
The
okay.
little ones.
What?
The little ones.
The sneaky ones.
The sneaky ones.
Okay, those are not the
I'm so
soldiers.
confused. So there are 2?
The soldier,
the 2 soldiers.
Correct, that's right. The 2
Okay,
soldiers
now
and the
I
2
got it.
sneaky
I
ones.
thought
Yeah.
there were like 3 sneaky ones, and that was it.
No.
Okay, so let's see. Going at that one. Are you going in, by the way, at the sneaky one that was hit by Tawny, or?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
It's a little compressed over there space-wise, but okay, so that first one is going to hit, second will miss.
Okay. Oh, sorry. They're just the first one. I just automatically went for
Okay, so 5.
sorry, 5.
Okay. Again, he
And,
kind of shouts, "Nah!"
Yeah, and Stone is going to actually go for the other one because they are smaller and yeah. Let's see, stone. Sorry, I'm looking for. Sorry, I was in the wrong part. Nope, I was still in the wrong part. Ah! There we go. Right.
Wow.
Nice!
Stone just like, bleh. All right. What's the, give me that damage.
Oh, and it should succeed at a strength saving throw because it's a smaller medium creature, right?
It is a small, yeah. So we'll definitely have to do that. Although first you got to,
Yeah.
I want to see what the max damage is on that.
It's
Well, it's a critical hit, so you
So
get
it's-
maximum. So
that's 8. Is it?
you would have had 8.
Or no, wait, sorry. Well, how is that calculating that? Oh, it's 1d6 plus
3,
3.
which would be 9.
So
So
9
it's
would be the
8
maximum.
plus- No, so it's 1d6. Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, math.
That's fine. Stone takes this thing down, actually.
Woohoo!
He overbears him, which is why I wanted to see what the damage was going to be on a critical hit. And just falls backwards. And you can see the other one that you're dealing with, River, sort of takes a step back, a nervous step back, even further, already looking pretty hurt. Yep, Stone rocking the battlefield. That's right. Okay. And then,
Can River enter a turn closer to the door? Or
not really. There's still some bodies in front of it. I mean, you're as close to the orcs that are in front of the door. So, yeah. So, Inge, you were up.
Okay, so 3
There's
of
now
them are
3 left. Yep.
Okay, like
And whatever
so
this thing is
2
behind them. You
soldiers
can't
and
see.
1 tiny one, yes?
Right, and there's something else behind you still can't see, right? But
Okay. Is there like Tony looks like visibly in pain and
Yep.
hurt and stuff, right? Okay, so
I assume so,
I'm
unless
gonna-
Tony's trying to be stoic about it. I'm fine.
gotta be
I'm okay.
but a flesh wound.
Yeah. I think I'll take a walk.
No, then Inge is gonna go to whichever is closest to Tony.
Okay, that'll be one of the soldiers then. Oh no.
Which would be it's the same one that Robar's on.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, she gets her axe and like hurls at him, basically.
Okay.
Lashes down on him. Assuming a 9 doesn't hit.
Unfortunately, that's not going to hit. Nope. I'm sorry to say. And I would ask you where you're moving, but there's not much room anyway. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, she like tries to basically protect Tony here, but like Tony is huge and she's tiny, so.
I understand. Okay, this. All right. So the other sort of sneaky one jumps forward and plunges his dagger into Stone. That's a 20.
how dare!
It's a 20. I assume is going to hit.
Yes.
Okay. So let's see.
Actually, Stone sleeps while wearing his armor.
So, yeah, I know, right? Let's see.
Stone was sleeping under River's armor.
Yes.
And is
Under
currently
Ri-
wearing it.
his armor.
Under
Okay.
River's armor, huh?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So unfortunately, that stab just embedded itself in a corselet and did him no harm whatsoever.
But there was feedback because the corselet had a lot of static electricity, and so thereby killing this creature. Yeah.
Petition to give
It's
all
a
animals in this
corselet.
campaign plot armor.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, exactly.
He does 4 points of damage to Stone, but I'm gonna need Stone to make a Constitution saving throw for me.
Okay, and saves. So I think that's just a straight roll.
Yeah,
for
in this
him.
case for him. Mm-hmm.
And I can't click those. So do I just roll a d20?
Sure, and then you can add your Constitution bonus, his Constitution bonus. Yeah, animal plot armor. What's up, Redlear?
How much? What is the bonus for a 12? Is it 1?
Should be 1.
Okay, so roll that d20.
And of course, Wii
Yeah, exactly, and Wii U. Okay,
20.
so 20. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So this stuff burns, but Stone kind of growls and sort of rolls over and seems to be okay. I mean, he's got that little cut in his side, but he seems to be okay otherwise. The creature, you can see its eyes widen slightly below its mask. They're behind its mask. Okay, you're avoiding the snow. Yeah, I hear that, Red Lear. Red Lear is also Canadian. So let's move on to Robar at the top of the round.
Robar is going to continue to.
Did you say that was 4 points?
4 points to
Yes.
him. Yeah, 12 out of 16 I have him at
Yeah.
right now.
To continue hacking a slashing, which is kicking that little ball that kids used to do in the 80s. Yeah.
Yeah, hacky sack. Oh, yeah.
Or that.
Oh, they
yeah.
kept doing it in the 90s.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Then
so
a couple of sad people were left to do it in the 2000s. I'm just kidding.
Everyone was on their iPods and Instagrams.
oh, man.
It's okay. They did a whole bunch of it in Star Trek Insurrection. The kids were doing it in the big circle
Oh.
with all the little. Anyway, seeing no real reason to change targets,
Mhm.
Robar's gonna stab at the soldier he was on again.
Okay.
15
15 will hit.
or 3. No,
3 no.
well, 3 damage plus. Since it is a servant of the enemy, takes an additional +2 damage, which I probably should have accounted for on the earlier attack as well.
I am confused by this roll.
I'm really just an independent contractor. I'm not a servant. I'm just kidding.
It does say that it does a +4 to hit, not to damage, right?
Mhm.
Ah, okay. Because I was like, how can you get a +4 but only roll a 3? That doesn't
Yeah.
make sense. But no, I see.
Yep.
+2 damage.
Okay, so that connects.
was 5?
Tani is up.
That would be.
No, when you hover your mouse over the number, it shows you the calculation.
But he
No,
was
it does
saying-
like 1d8 damage, but he only rolled a 1, but it's a +2, so it's 3.
Yes, but he was saying that because it's a servant of the enemy, he gets an additional +2.
Oh, okay.
So that should be 5.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there was supposed to be +2 to the previous hit.
But he didn't hit with the earlier.
He didn't hit.
Oh, he
that
didn't
one.
hit earlier.
No.
Okay, that's fine.
Right,
Yeah.
So
Cool.
5 points of damage for that.
Okay. Tani's up.
So Tawny's up. Okay. This will be a disadvantage because of his dingy-doo.
Where'd Tony go?
Because
20's
of
across the board.
Poison.
It's poison.
15.
Or-
Sorry, 7.
I was gonna say, unfortunately not. You feel the poison
Yeah.
kind of heading through your veins, like, and unfortunately you do not connect.
And that's actually not what I wanted to do this round anyway. But never mind. Never
I
mind.
got into a routine.
Yeah.
Okay. The one of the orc soldiers is gonna stay on robe. I was gonna try to aim at you, but is not gonna hit this time. I don't think that's gonna be a 10 without armor
For who?
for you, Tani.
No, his AC's 11.
Okay. And then the second one is definitely gonna hit because that's a 23 against Robar.
Ugh.
And let's see, that's going to be 3 points of damage only, but he's going to need to make that save again.
3 and
Poison's a little bit nasty because normally you get a chance to save afterwards, but it's like, nope, don't get this time.
15.
All right, so you managed to save against this thing. Okay, that is going to lead us to the river.
Right.
One of those shadowy figures are left, those little sneaky guys.
Yeah. Yeah. God, tactically, River should be going for the bigger guys, but this little dude just stabbed her dog, so she's gonna attack the smaller, shadowy one. And also, again, her objective is still the door, so... oops. So she's attacking the small slithery dude.
Ooh. Oh, wait
It's
a
a
minute.
lot of rolls.
I was
Oh,
gonna
sorry.
say, wait, what happened now?
I'm sorry, that was just... I'm clicking and then I don't hear it go, and so, but it should just be the top two,
Okay.
even though the last one was a better one, but whatever, it's fine.
Both of those top two we're gonna hit. You'll be happy to know. Okay. Yeah, that is more than enough. That just obliterates that guy, what was left of him, and he is cut down.
Hooray!
And as he is cut down, something, now that he's behind, leaps forward with something flashing in its hand. And
Wait, something else?
I mentioned
There was a
that
thing that we couldn't see in this room?
Correct. There is one thing behind the rest of them because of the amount of room that was there. If I can ever get the goddamn statistics up. There we go. Okay. This creature gets a attack off on you. Okay. Yes, okay. So, he is wielding this fairly wide, kind of a broad-bladed sword, basically. And you see that he is wielding it in his right hand because his left arm is bandaged and in a sling.
Fuck you, Lockman!
Yep.
Oh!
And so Lockman
You're
gets a
going
free
down!
roll off on that. Let's see. That is going to be a 23 to hit.
That will hit.
Okay. He slashes strongly across your abdomen, does 11 points of damage with that hit.
Jesus. Fuck. Okay.
And he snarls at you and says, "The first blood in my vengeance for what you did to my brother."
I hate this whole fucking family.
This whole family needs to go.
They're just so bad.
Okay. So, yes, so you were... That was an attack of opportunity that he actually took. It was part of his sort of setup. So he'll now enter the sort of regular initiative order at some point. You don't know when, but you'll see.
And like, let me guess, like, one of them needs to survive because he's gonna be the father of Grima's Wormtongue or something, right?
Grima Wormtongue is sadly already extant in this world.
Is he? Isn't there like a 50-year gap or something? Like, how old was he? I don't know.
Yeah, he was gross. He was probably in. I think he's in his like 40s or 50s.
You got super quiet, Amal, just so you know. Like, I don't know what just
Yeah, it
happened.
keeps happening. Like,
yeah.
Suddenly you go loud and then like go quiet again.
Yeah, spoilers. Exactly right there. Okay. So Stone now
Dorif did a brilliant job playing him.
Oh yeah, he was great. I actually always show that sequence, which a lot of it was pulled from elsewhere in the books with him and Eowyn, with the whole like when your whole life seems to shrink. Like that whole thing is great. Oh man. Okay. Stone is up and is facing the angry Lockman plus the two other orcs.
Yeah, Stone is going for Lockman. Sorry, I think what happens
That's
is
better.
that when I get really angry, the microphone automatically compensates, and then
Yeah, there's a way to actually, you don't have to do it now, but later on what you might want to do is there's a way to shut off the auto leveling thing, which really needs, you need to do that just because I don't know anyone where the auto leveling is a good thing. It just makes it worse because of this exact situation. So,
okay. Stone, incensed by this attack to his mistress, is gonna go in with a bite.
okay. Stone said no.
Hey!
That's a hit.
Okay.
Okay.
6 piercing.
All right. Okay, that definitely hits. He staggers back a little bit. Let's see if he makes his save here.
Oh yeah, right. Fail it! Fail it!
Yeah, he didn't make it.
Yes!
So the Stone is kind of like, he doesn't go prone, but he kind of staggers backwards with Stone, kind of like, get on me, you mutt. Okay, that is going to lead to him, actually. It's now his time. So he is going to attack Stone, since Stone is kind of on him. Let's see.
But he has disadvantage.
Correct, that's right.
Stay disadvantaged, you maggoty shit.
11.
That does not hit, I don't think. Nope, does not hit.
Okay. So yeah, so he's trying to like slash him off and is not getting the job done.
Does Stone get an attack of opportunity if he does that?
Nope.
Damn it. Okay.
Nope.
I don't actually know how anything works. I'm just gonna keep on asking.
Is it the attack of I hate this guy?
I hate him so much!
Um,
It should just be that my rage gives opportunity.
Exactly. Inga's up.
Yeah, Inga is like, as soon as she realized that Lockwood is there, she's like, Lockwood, you son of a rat! And like lurches at him with her axe.
Okay.
He's so mad.
I wonder how I've got to bring in other people so like if the rage can become just incandescent, like, you know. Magric staggers in. No!
Oh, 23!
That's a hit, yeah.
Right, yeah, sweet.
Woohoo! Kill him!
7 damage.
Okay.
What do I
Wow.
gotta do bonus?
That's a good shot. Now he's not dead, but he looks pretty hurt. And he kind of staggers backwards. And he shouts something in the black speech. In the speech of in Orcish. I shouldn't say black speech. That's different. In Orcish, he shouts something. Okay, and that leads us to Robar, and then Tani will be on deck. What's Robar gonna do?
Meanwhile, River is just shouting, "You are a coward and a traitor, just like your brother was, and he deserved everything that was coming to him."
He'll pay for that. Just as soon as I get this goddamn dog off me.
Well,
You shut up about my dog!
so as this is going back and forth, you know, Robar is going to kind of sit back and start reading the Cask of Amontillado. But every time he gets to the name Fortunato, he replaces it with Magric. And then he's going to lash out with his long sword at the... Because the orc he's fighting is still alive, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like
Still
imagining Robar standing there, like the sword in one hand and the book in one hand, and he doesn't even look.
He's
at
just
what
like
he's doing.
he's just like
stand.
The 1,000 injuries of Magric I'd borne as best I could, but when he ventured on betrayal...
so Lockman's just like, for the love of God, Madrazar. Oh man.
There is no God.
I want to know why we couldn't see Lockman. Is he wearing an invisibility cloak? Is he like, what is going on?
No, he was covered over by the orcs in front of him. Remember, I mentioned that there was something that kept bobbing around behind them that you couldn't see, and he was obviously waiting his turn to try to get in his own attack. Very
Covered
limited
over with
space.
blood.
You had 2 orcs in front and 2 orcs behind those orcs. So
That is so gross. Anyway,
Hit.
19.
That's just Robar's new voice because you keep making weird voices.
that is so gross.
That's like the punishment for Will
So
not
this-
showing
that's
up
the
that now
another-
Robar has a weird voice.
It's another 5 damage to the soldier.
Jesus.
Look, I'm a Dunedain. Not a Don't-a-dine, okay? I'm
Oh my God.
sorry, Will. This is what you get
Professor
for,
Tolkien
you know,
rolls over in his grave multiple times.
Yes, because he's laughing so much.
Yeah, well, that could be. Okay. That's okay. So that does
5.
that. Okay.
5 points of damage.
Yep.
And then Tony.
All right.
Come on, Tani.
Yep, Tani is up. The one is starting to look fairly hurt. The one that you've been concentrating your fire on, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because he's chained, Mirinda. That's why. Also, he's drunk, but mostly he's chained.
Frank? Wait, what?
Mirinda was asking why doesn't the person in Cask of Amontillado wasn't Fortunato
Oh.
push out of the wall? And the answer is he's chained
Like-
and drunk.
Did I
Right,
miss
because I'm not looking at the chat either, and I'm like, what the
Oh, because
hell?
Tani's chained and drunk. That's why.
Yeah, clearly.
Sure.
He's out of honey, so he's got to make up for it with something else.
Exactly.
And the water's so clear here, might as well make vodka.
Yep.
So, it's got potatoes, it's got water, make vodka.
Hey, Ina
Those.
still has like a bottle of Dwarven Spirit, so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Tani's gonna okay. Tactically speaking, is Tani in a situation where he can take a step back without invoking or evoking? Which would it be? Invoking?
Without
Attack
provoking, you mean?
Provoking, that's the word. I knew it was evoke.
Invoking. Attack of opportunity! Yeah, no, it's everything.
Getting Vogue in here, aren't we?
Yes, you can take a step back. You can't then step back in, though. So you
No,
have to-
no, that's not what he's going to do.
Okay.
He's going to move back a little bit, or his movement, and he is going to use his ability that he doesn't get to use very often.
Destroy all orcs in small cabin. Very
Close.
unusual.
Because of his medical thing. The ability is softer underneath. Your studies of the anatomy of various creatures and beings has granted you an innate knowledge of their weaknesses. You spend an action studying a target. You can gain an additional damage die that may be applied to a single attack from you or a companion that hits the creature.
Oh.
So basically, he's stepping back and watching Lockman.
Okay.
And
Any creature,
examining-
not beasts, name what?
It says creature.
Okay, that's fine.
Creatures and beings.
Creatures and beings. Okay, good. Sounds good.
And he's basically watching how Lockman moves to determine a sensitive spot in
Okay.
which to stick him, and he's going to probably wind up telling the river about it. So basically, that's his action, is to provide her with intel of stick him here,
Okay, right there. That's the spot.
which will allow her to an additional damage die. So
Okay.
instead of doing 2d6 or however much she does, she'll do 3 or whatever.
That sounds good.
So that's
Um,
his.
Okay. So you will do that. Okay, sounds good. So, the one that was attacking you then turns its attention to Stone, since Lockman is ordering Stone's death, to get off of him, and slams into Stone with his bent sword with a 23.
That hits.
And is going to do. Eek. Is going to do 8 points of damage.
Oh, jeez.
He hit him really
Okay.
hard. Also, Stone's going to need to make another one of those Constitution saving throws.
God damn it. Okay. So Stone is now at 4
Yeah.
hit points. And again, that was 20 plus 1.
Right.
So 15.
Yeah, he manages to, again, sort of like growling, kind of kick it off. However, he does release his hold on Lockman when he is slammed in the side by this sword. You see there's definitely a lot of blood there now. And the second one is going to continue to attack Robar, but I think is going to miss. 10. Okay. That is going to lead us to the river.
River is
Lockman, who
going
looks
to-
pretty hurt, and those 2 soldiers are still left.
She is 100% staying on Lockman.
Yeah, figured.
Yeah, God, I'm trying to be really quippy and stuff, but I'm so absolutely flooded with rage. And River is just laser focused on him and the harm that he did to all of those people, and the like remembering the pits full of bodies and the arms she was invited to eat and everything.
Yep.
And I'm just gonna say, if anyone wants to inspire, we haven't really asked for inspiration
It's true.
at this point, because
We
I think we're all
A
so
lot of-
mad.
A lot of us still have them.
Oh, right, that's true.
Because they were not the inspirations that were the normal.
Right.
They
That
were
were the right. So the only ones who've used them are me and Tawny.
I
right.
haven't used mine.
Oh no, me
Somebody,
and Inga.
you and Inga used it because I know
Yeah.
2
I
people used
used
it
my
today.
inspiration to shoot Margaret way in the beginning, I think.
Yeah, which is kind of important.
That's right, exactly. So
And she was also feeling very inspired about hitting that guy. So
Hmm.
yeah. So yeah, if anyone wants to inspire the River before this next shot, she's real mad and just wants to absolutely disembowel him, but for throats.
got him.
Disemthroat him.
Disenthroat.
Yeah,
Disenvocalize him.
decapitate, I guess.
Disenvocalize him, maybe.
Yeah.
Decapitation.
So I just wanted to see if anyone wanted to inspire, but if that's not going to happen, I will go for the roll.
Any inspirations? Anybody?
You're the
Anybody?
inspiration, etc.
Ah!
Woo!
And here comes Nonstop with the inspiration. Thank you, Nonstop.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You are amazing. You are wonderful. Always count on you. Here's hoping that does not get squandered. Okay.
Future campaign from Esper Genesis. Where's the inspiration? I used it up on. Damn it! Why does the Adventures of Middle Earth crew get inspired? So there'll be a crossover Marvel Cinematic Universe war.
Oh
Alright.
boy.
Okay. Here we go.
Like, I mean, that's like the plan, I'm assuming. But in actuality, it's probably gonna be like that
Oh. Okay.
old anti-drug cartoon where they did like all the cartoon characters back in the 90s or 80s or something and had them like do a thing that's probably more like it.
Ah.
Okay, so that first one's going to be a hit. Second one is a miss.
I'm sorry. I always hate it when I use inspiration and then it doesn't actually result in something tremendous, but
It builds your bond between you and Chad. That's fine.
it's true. Non-stop, you're so great. Okay. Oh, Tony didn't actually shout his thing, right?
Oh,
No, he did.
yeah,
that
he
was
did.
part of the. That's part of the action. It was.
Oh, okay.
So
that-
you get to roll twice right
Yeah.
now. Right?
Oh, okay.
For
great.
damage.
So for damage, so I'll roll this again.
So it'll be 2d6 plus 3 instead of 1d6 plus 3.
Yep. So you got your 8, and then. Okay. Wow.
And then plus 3.
So
So it's 18.
Yeah, so Lockman kind of, so he, sort of steps back, and he has this moment where he looks up at you, and then you just bring, your axes kind of cross him, and you see this huge, the sucking chest wound. Blood's coming everywhere as he kind of staggers back. He kind of vainly scrabbles at the air, holds on to his chest, and then says, "This makes no difference. The darkness is coming for you, too. All of you. You." And then he falls to the ground, and
Dead?
hits the
He's
ground.
dead?
Well, if he's not dead, he's making a pretty good interpretation. Yeah,
Dead! Ah!
yeah, he's completely dead.
Ah!
And the orcs sort of look at each other, but are still in the midst of fighting. Okay, that leads us to Stone. There's still 2 orcs that remain.
First, River is panting hard and like turns to look at the orcs, and Stone goes immediately to one of them. Can River actually end her turn at the door now?
Yes, I would say so. Yes.
Okay.
And actually, River, you actually hear outside a sound of what sounds like many feet running, and shouts and horns and things like this. And also this very strange sound of what sounds like, again, neighing.
Neighing. Okay. All right. So I think, all right. I think what River is going to do before Stone attacks is fling that door. Oh, is there any tactical advantage to flinging the door open, or?
I don't know. It would give you a chance to get outside, but whether that's good or bad is I don't know.
I'm hoping more it lets other people come inside.
Maybe, yeah. You don't know if
yeah.
people are trying to. The door's not locked, so you don't know.
Right.
But
Yeah, I wouldn't do it if I were you, because I'm gonna do a different thing if that's cool with you.
Okay. Well, I'll just say she reaches the door, and as Stone attacks. Okay, so here we go. Stone is going for the most injured looking
Okay.
of the orcs,
Yep.
of the soldiers.
Yep. Yeah, one of them actually has not yet been hit. This the other one has been affected. That is not gonna hit, unfortunately.
Sorry.
His injuries, he doesn't quite get his usual spring in his step, so to speak. And that's gonna lead us to Inga.
Hey, okay, so River is already standing between the orcs and the door, right?
Right.
And River says, I hear neighing.
Now I forgot what I wanted to do.
Oh, no! No!
Turns her head towards the door.
No, okay, no, the plan was basically for Inge to step between the orcs and the door so that they can't run away.
Mhm.
But yeah, since River's already there, there's no point to that. So instead, she is also gonna attack whatever orc is closest.
Okay.
Which, can we just say for the sake of argument that it's gonna be the uninjured
I think.
one?
Oh, sure. If you want, you probably
Okay.
can get to either one, honestly.
Yeah,
So.
okay. Then I want to go for the one that hasn't been
Okay.
injured yet.
All right.
And that's gonna do absolutely nothing, I'm assuming.
But you can use your inspiration. Oh, no, you can't. Never mind.
I don't have it.
Unfortunately, that
Sorry.
is a miss. Okay, that brings us up to Robar with Tani on deck.
Inge is very confused about your neighing comment.
Yeah, wait, what?
Yeah, more the same longsword action.
Okay, on the injured or not? I think the injured one or non-injured one?
Because the one he's still fighting the same one.
The
right?
same one, I think, which is the uninjured one. Yeah.
No,
Oh no, he's hit
done-
him once before. Yeah, so the
he's
injured
done
one. Yeah.
10 points of damage. So
I take it
far.
back. Injured one then.
Yes, that one. 6.
Fortunately, that is a miss. Tani, you're up.
Yeah, or terrible.
Yeah, well, he's how and Stone is engaged with
With this injured one as well.
Right.
yeah, okay.
It's a cave troll making pony sounds outside. No, no.
I just as a reminder, I've been a hard out in
I know. Yep, I know. That's why I'm trying to speed things up.
Yeah,
All right, yeah, so
But
Tony's
if you
gonna
have to go
move.
when you're keeping on going, you can take over River for me if that's
It's
okay.
gonna move forward and
Yeah.
gonna pool cue this
Okay.
stupid person. But of course, he's still at disadvantage because he's poisoned.
20's across the board. 20's across the board.
No,
Nope.
it's a natural
Critical
one.
miss. Boing. Yeah, like Fred. No, he does not hit himself. Okay. They step forward and try to hit Tawny. Ooh. That's a 23 to hit.
Okay.
And that is going to do 3 more points of damage. And you can't be double poisoned, you'll be happy to know.
Right.
So
I was gonna say, can't get any more poison than he already is.
the other one at Robar is finally going to hit him, I think. 16.
Yes.
Okay. And that is only going to be a 3 points of damage again, but again, he'll need to make that save one more time. One more time. One more time. We're gonna...
7.
Okay. Does not make it, so he is poisoned. So Robar now has disadvantage on attacks and ability checks, and that leads us to the river.
All right, yeah, River is going for the injured dude.
Hey, Kerflop.
Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, wait, sorry. Who's on the injured dude? It's Tawny, Stone, and Robar.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Inga's alone on the other guy.
Yes.
Okay, so she's actually gonna go for that guy.
Okay.
Um,
The uninjured guy.
the uninjured guy.
Okay. All right.
But first, can she open the door first?
Yes, if she wants.
Okay. She's gonna open the door and shout, "Aid! Aid! We're under attack!"
Okay.
And then go for this asshole.
Unfortunately, one of the guards' name is Aid, and he thinks that's specifically addressing him.
He's like, I'm Luckman's cousin, and are you
Now
Oh,
the
no!
inspiration would have been really
Actually,
fantastic.
triplets.
Yeah. At 14 hits, though.
Okay. 6.
Finally, first blood is drawn upon this thing. Okay.
Stone is gonna stay on the injured one.
Okay. That's funny to me. Yeah, it's a hit.
Hey!
Woo.
Wow. And that's actually going to take him down
Yes.
as he sort of leaps up. Urgh! Exactly. I'm Lockman's cousin, sister's, uncle's, nephew's former roommate. I am the true enemy. Okay, Stone takes him down, which is the second creature it's killed, I think, in this fight.
Stone is fucking awesome.
They said this would be the Stone Power Hour if this were Saturday. Okay, Inga, you were up. You've got 1 remaining.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to hit that guy.
Okay.
Kill him, Inga.
No.
Ah!
No, I don't want to. You do not do so. But as you sort of draw back, there is this, again, great horn blast. And then you have the very strange experience, River, of seeing as this orc that's fighting you is drawn inexorably out of the cabin. And basically, as you look, you see the great tall form of Heartfast, who grabs him by the back of his armor and roars in rage and then drops him on this knee. There's a sickening crack and throws him into the river. And there's this just, you see his body like turning around and then hits the water with a splash. And this great roar goes up. And you see that like every woodman in the history of creation seems to have arrived. Like they all are there like armed and armored, having finally heard what happens. And at the front of the group, coming galloping up to you, Inga, is Lilimon, who, as the guards tell you, himself was the one who raised the alarm by neighing as he was running to the gate. And pulling themselves up, kind of crawling, almost not crawling, but like sort of staggering forward, supporting each other, are the 3 slaves who walk up the gate. Lilliman has found and brought them back, with the eagle, as you see, having settled in, landing on top of the roof and looking down, its wings folded, preening itself as the party is once again reunited. And that, I think, is where we're going to bring this session to a close. Technically, the epilogue of this particular adventure is going to involve you folks going back and reporting to Radagast, and then obviously then we have a fellowship phase and you'll deal with all that stuff. But I do want to mention that's technically the case. That said, though, the party has now raised to level 5. So you are now level 5.
Oh my god! This has been such an emotional roller coaster. We thought we were safe, but then we weren't safe. And then it was the more hate, so much hate. And then he died, and I'm so happy. And then Lilliman came back, and
and then Heartfast went all Bane on the guy and was just like,
so great when all this.
They were all angry.
I'm so proud of me.
And Lilliman, they told you Lilliman doesn't do things for no reason. So, really great stuff today, everybody. Really enjoyed this. I'll start with Amal down below. By the way, in case anyone's curious, there will be a fellowship phase next, and it'll be a busy one because there's stuff that River has to do, there's stuff that Inga wants to do. Tani, I imagine, is going to have stuff to do, but there's also, of course, the whole situation in the north. We'll deal with that, and that will be, by the way, the last fellowship phase you're going to get because the next 2 adventures are done back to back. So this will be your last fellowship phase. When you do the fellowship phase, after you're done with the fellowship phase, the next adventure will be called The Crossings of Selduin. But that is something we will, again, it's probably going to take us at least a session, if not 2, to do the fellowship phase, and then we will move into the final 2 adventures of Wilderland Adventures. So, all right, I will let Amal, because I know she's got to get out of here. But I got this done at 2:59. I want to be clear.
You are amazing.
So,
you are so amazing.
Amal, how did you feel about today, and where will we find people today?
I felt so good. I was terrified. First of all, I am so weirdly pleased with myself for having correctly intuited that I was gonna roll like shit for the first half of this adventure. It's just a feeling I had, and lo, it did come true. No, I felt really great about it. I'd been really nervous knowing that River, as the bard, would probably like have to do the speaking and stuff, and what was sort of like an almost like an audience without the roles to set it up and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd been really nervous about that, but I feel like like the River acquitted herself fairly well, and that her rage lent itself to eloquence instead of inarticulacy, and she fucking got to kill Lockmond, who, like, she hated actually more than Magric.
I was going to say, you thought you couldn't hate anyone more than Magric, but his brother, you're like, this whole family must be wiped from the earth.
Like, Magric at least had that one humanizing moment where he genuinely actually seemed troubled while they were and whereas Lockmond is just there blithely working for the enemy and being a shit. And so she got to kill him, and I'm extremely glad about that.
Yeah.
Also, he stabbed her dog. And so, yeah, just, he's dead. I'm pleased with the track record of people stabbing Stone being dead.
Yeah.
So that is,
seems to be almost 100% at this point, I think.
Exactly. And low may it continue to be while Stone keeps on living a hearty and healthy life. So, but I loved Inga's exchange with Bernhild. That made me so happy.
Yeah.
It was beautiful and kind and lovely. And just, yeah, everything I thought was great. I loved how everyone got to speak to Heartfast, and I loved Heartfast baning out. That was awesome. So yeah,
he was really angry too, just to be clear. He was like, I'm so goddamn tired of this garbage, you know, like, what these mother bleeping orcs out this mother anyway.
So yeah, so I was delighted by it. I feel extremely relieved at how it all went, and I'm really excited about level 5. I've got to look up and see what happens at level 5, what perks there are there. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
In terms of stuff coming up, there's a whole lot of stuff coming up. I'm going to be, I and a few other Ottawa writers are going to be in Montreal on March 14th at the Argos bookstore in Montreal. It'll be me, Kate Hartfield, Matt Moore, and Derek Kunskin. So if any of you want to see us reading in Montreal, go to the Argos bookstore website. There's an event page for it. And I'm really looking forward to that. I'm going to be in the UK starting on, hopefully, if the flights go well and stuff, from Friday until the 25th, until literally right before next session. I'm going to be in the UK, in London, and then in Glasgow. Excuse me. Not doing anything in particular except seeing people, but so it goes. I mean, actually, I'm going to hang out with Kevin Hearn a little bit because we're both going to be in Glasgow at the same time.
I actually met him for the first time at CanCon last time. We were on a panel, so I had never met him before.
He's
So
a lovely fellow.
yeah, he's a good dude.
And then there's a lot of I forget if I mentioned this. I'm going to be a poet in residence for VerseFest, which is a really, really fantastic poetry festival that happens in Ottawa in the last week of March. So if any of you guys are local, I highly, highly recommend it. VerseFest is brilliant. It brings in poets internationally. We've had some amazing people before, and this is the first year that they do the poet in residence thing, and I'm extremely excited and honored to be their inaugural poet in residence. So my job is basically to attend as many events as possible and then write poetry about them, which I think is pretty cool. And I'm going to have a reading as well. Also, hopefully by that point, I will have nifty swag to give away for This Is How You Lose the Time War, which is my collaboration with Max Gladstone coming out in July. So yeah, come to VerseFest. It'll be really cool. And otherwise, I'm going to be at the Owland Islands as guest of honor for Alcon. I don't know what the vowel is when you have an A with a circle on top of it. But anyway, you probably know. Sorry, but
I'm guessing here, but I think it's sound. But
Åland?
Yeah, I think so.
So Alcon, something like that, is
Maybe.
from May 29th to June 2nd. It's a really small convention in Mariehamn, and it's I'm really looking forward to it. So if you are in Europe and can make your way to the demilitarized zone between Finland and Sweden, then you should go to this con because it seems really cool. And otherwise, you can find me online on Twitter at Tithanai, on Drip, d.rip/amal-l-muhtar, or on my website, amalmuhtar.com. And that's basically it, I think. So, and I'm really, really hoping I get to announce the cool thing to you guys next time. I'm deeply, deeply hoping, because it is really awesome. And I would love to tell you all sort of face to screen. Yes. Anyway, but yeah, so that's me. And still hoping for Gen Con to happen. I have been in touch now with organizers.
Okay, good.
I will say I couldn't commit to the lottery thing. So my hope is that if any of us go, maybe rooming together could be a feasible situation.
Mm-hmm.
But because with travel being as complicated as it is for me, I don't feel able to commit to the housing this far in advance. But I'm still very hopeful of going. So yeah, I'll see you guys later.
That would be great. Thank you, Mal. Good stuff today.
Thank you so much for everything. I'll leave my window up.
Oh, and Mal, as you leave, just because you reminded me of May, try to make just a little mark in your calendar for the Memorial Day weekend in the States, which is 24th, 25th, 26th of May.
Right.
One of those days, I'm hoping that we'll have AME because it's part of my charity convention, ARVCon, for the cancer research thing. So I'm just letting you know because you reminded me. But don't worry about it now. I'm just
right. I'll try. There's a possibility I might be in Toronto, but if I'm in Toronto, maybe I could see Will.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
that would be kind of cool.
Okay,
so,
either way.
Okay, right.
Just, on your calendar, but thanks, Mel.
All right, take care, guys.
Okay.
Bye.
Moving right up on the line, Terry, this was great. Yeah, and I echo what everyone said. That was really lovely role-playing with Barinald. I really enjoyed that, and it was one of the things I like about this campaign is that I always try to place moments where you're taking a breath and you're kind of connecting with each other on another level, because it's not just like the movie Crank where you just never slow down and it's constant action. But I really like that the AME kind of leans into those moments so that those really become a fundamental part of what we do. So really lovely stuff. How'd you feel about today, and where will the fine folks, besides on this channel, see you next?
First of all, that was a ton of fun, and I also really, really liked that I got to do that thing with Barinald.
Yeah.
Especially because it's been a while. I think the last time Inge had a personal heartfelt moment was back in Stonyford, I guess.
Possibly,
when,
yeah.
She and River had that heart-to-heart talk with what was her name?
Brunhild, right?
Brunhild, I think it was Brunhild. She was named after one of those Valkyries. Anyway, so that was really nice. And was had like a spark of inspiration going there with like the whole thing. Yeah, okay, like he knows like her parents and stuff, and they go like way back. And like
yeah, I really like that connection. It was fun to see that kind of play out. And Lillimon was Lillimon was heroic. He was,
Of course he was. I never doubted it.
Yeah, sure. Never any doubt.
No, that was very good, and I can't wait for the next session, which is way too long away.
I know. 2 weeks. But it'll be great.
I
It'll
miss,
be a
like,
hell of
way
a
back
fellowship
in the
phase.
day when you could just like do sessions that like go all night long.
Yep.
With friends, like in a basement.
Well, ArvCon sometimes gives the chance for that, as Trend knows. Like we had a couple. Usually ArvCon was this big long thing. But I'll tell you what, though, it's epic because you're doing it also not just for the fun of that, but also you're seeing the money that you raise and whatever. It's a good time.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So anyway.
Yeah, we're gonna people see me next. Well, obviously here next Tuesday we are gonna do the next session of. What are we doing? Are we doing a new game or are we doing?
No, we're still
Sigurd?
finishing up Fire Demon. This should be the last session, depending on how things go, and then the next one is Sherlock Holmes. That starts next month. But yeah.
Where I can like flex my Victorian style
Hell yeah.
muscles, which I also like to do. If some people like have been following me on like my art stuff, that I'm really into like Lolita fashion, all that stuff, which is very much Victorian inspired. Anyway,
Nice.
Yeah, I think that's it. Basically, I don't have any cons planned or anything. Should get to that probably. But yeah, that's basically it for now. Like, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Pillow Fort for my art stuff. General silliness on Twitter. So
Yeah.
that's it, basically.
Good stuff. Thank you, Terry. And keep your eyes open too, and for you, calendar marked about possibilities for August with Gen Con, because I have this idea about the possibility of bringing people together at that for sort of an all-in-person session.
I am 100% down for that, but I do need to know way ahead of time.
Yeah. No, I know. Well, that's why I'm letting you know about it's in August, and I'm letting you know about the possibility of it theoretically now.
Yes.
I don't have, as far as funding and everything else, I've been talking to Trent about other stuff I can't get into here that would involve travel, but that's for next year. So for this year, if we were to do this, we'd have to think about travel, but this would be in the United States, and it would probably be a lot easier to get to Indianapolis than, from Cali than other places, I would think. So
I don't have to worry about like border shenanigans since I'm German.
Well,
right?
by that point, no, I don't know. You're kidding. Apparently you're the good people, according to our current loser.
Something like that.
Anyway,
I think
hopefully
I'm
not.
starting to understand how the Scandinavians felt during World War II about Germany. Ugh.
Yeah, it's Anyway, but this is a corrective to that. This is an example. Heroism does exist. We're getting there, just step by step. But
it would be amazing if that would be
okay.
happen.
Cool. We will talk more about that.
My first trip outside of Europe. So.
Oh, that would be cool too. All right, so we will talk more about that. Thank you, Terry. Wonderful stuff tonight. As I said, I'm really sorry that Will missed this, and that the power blew up and his internet collapsed. And I'm really hoping this will not be the case in 2 weeks. What's up?
Can we if Will is there for next session, do like a tiny rewind thing, because I feel like she and Robo would have had a talk during that.
Oh yeah. You can have absolutely. You'll have a flashback sequence. Sure.
Okay.
There's going to be a flashback sequence, and then you have to wrap up this session. Basically, this adventure. There's a little bit left over of just sort of the reporting stuff, and then the mother of all fellowship phases, because there's going to be a lot of stuff that has to be done. So yeah, that'll be exactly that'll be that. So and in your case, the adventure may take you in that direction, Inga, so you may not need to use the fellowship phase for that. But again, we'll talk about all that later.
Anyway, I'm assuming she's gonna meet her family again.
I'm looking forward to how things proceed. But yeah, so you should check out Will on Encounter Roleplay, and Will be back with us in 2 weeks. God help us, no internet problems, please. So that's going to be all that, but it's going to be fun times with Will. And last but certainly not least, Tren, you got a chance to get some good moments in, and some good, some combat moments under difficult circumstances. What are you holding up? What is this? Let me see.
Jury summons?
Jury summons.
What is that?
This is me being summoned for jury duty.
Fun.
So depending on, I mean, you said our next game is on the 23rd.
2 weeks from now, yeah.
And-
No. The
26th.
Strahd is the 23rd. We are the 26th. AME is the 26th.
Well, it would
Oh,
be
yeah.
on Strahd would be on a Saturday.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
doesn't affect this.
26th is 2 weeks from today.
Okay, so it would be next month. March 5th is the first day of this, but that's a Tuesday. So
Okay, we'll
need
just have to be aware of how that works.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll probably want to not do the 5th just to be on the safe side. And
unless I call the night before and they go, "You're dismissed from service," and I'll be like, "No problem, we can
Yeah.
play tomorrow." But that's really short.
I think it's
notice.
probably more likely that we'll end up trying for something like the 12th and 19th or something, and
Yeah.
just like put it in the middle because it's a pretty safe bet based on I just did this last summer that you should be okay after a few days, probably. I mean, we don't know for sure. So I actually have a friend who got federal grand jury, which is all year, but the way they do it there is you only meet like once a month for a certain amount of time, and so it's a little bit different. But anyway. Okay, so we will note that. Otherwise, how'd you feel about today, Tren?
Sleepy.
How'd you feel today, Tren, about Tawny and other things?
Sleepy. Yeah, I think it's
Sleepy.
the poison. He's feeling a bit what a friend of mine would call logy, which is when you've eaten so much meat that start falling into a protein coma,
Mhm.
and you're just like,
Isn't Logi like a giant from Norse mythology? Pretty sure.
There's low key.
No, Logi, that's like the thing that like apparently Loki is like seen as evil in a lot of cases
Right.
because he was mixed up with an actual evil character named Logi.
Oh, I didn't know that was the reason.
So
Okay.
it's like kind of where are they the same character? Are they not? Where were things mixed up? Blah blah.
Mhm.
So, because old story.
So yeah, it's going, went pretty well. Tawny is he's bordering on suffering a bout of Fifleyism, where Hardfast said we checked everything and it's all fine, and then this shit happens, and Tawny's a little wanting to kind of get up in Hardfast's face and say, "You said you checked this stuff."
Yeah.
The hell, she almost lost her dog. Do you know what will happen to you if she loses her dog after you said this place was safe? You don't got to worry about me. You got to worry about her. Anyway, so that's kind of how his brain is. It's the poison talking, I'm sure. I'm gonna, since we're supposedly hitting level 5, I'm gonna wait to roll my hit points until later, and I'm gonna let what's his name. Will roll his own hit points. Blah 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 blah.
Can we roll our hit points now while we are at it?
No, you were saying about saving it, and I think we probably should save it because we gotta kind of wrap up.
We still have some housekeeping to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Where will people see me next? That's the question that was on nobody's mind except for ours. Sunday, episode 1. You may not actually see me. I don't know, because it's the Highlander stream over on Grimjack's channel. Because it's the origin story of Sarah McLeod, of the Clan McLeod. And I don't know if my character is going to be involved in that.
Okay.
He might be involved in every episode. We don't know yet.
Okay.
But it'll be that one, and then after that, I think the next time, I don't know. Just follow me on Twitter. I don't know.
All right. I think it's important for Tren to go get some sleep. It is going to be important. But this was a great session. I really enjoyed this a lot. And really kind of tied up some, not all, but some of the loose ends, and wrapped up what was really Darkness in the Marshes was, I think, a really interesting adventure from Wilderland. So I am looking forward to seeing how they handle the Fellowship phase and the crossings of the Selduin coming up as the next adventure. As I say, as this leads into this two big mega adventure that's going to wrap up Wilderland Adventures. So, but before I do that, I want to thank the wonderful players today. Thank you, as always, to Tawny. Thank you to Will. Sorry, Will couldn't be here, but we'll get him back 2 weeks. Thank you to Tren. I said it again, Tani. Thank you to Tren. Thank you to Will. Thank you to Terry Tunes. And, of course, thank you to Amal. And I will see all of you wonderful folks soon. Chat, can we get some love for the wonderful players? And I'll see all you people soon.
Okay, baby.
Okay. You kept him up moving furniture. Sorry about that. Nice. Okay. That is that. All right. So, that also is going to, as I make sure I've got that turned off, and I've got that turned on, and that turned off, and there we go. Lovely. All right, so that is going to do it for me here, but I'm going to be over in a little bit under 40 minutes. I'm going to be over at GOG for my Pen and Pixels show. 4 p.m. Eastern, I'll be doing Pen and Pixels and Thronebreaker. I'm heading into the home stretch of that game, too. That's been a lot of fun. I've been really enjoying that. I think a few more sessions on that, and then that'll be wrapped up, and then I'll be returning to Pathfinder Kingmaker at long last. And also, the next week, we have D&D with GOG over on that channel, and Storm King's Thunder, and there is a special surprise coming next Tuesday, so you will definitely not want to miss it over there. I will be back on this channel. Now, we have Emberwind coming up tomorrow night. Emberwind is going to be coming up with John Helfer's GMing and then everyone else playing that I have mentioned previously. I will not be involved in that, but it is on my channel, and I am definitely having fun with Emberwind and hosting it, so hopefully you folks will be there for that. And then on Friday of this coming week, Friday night, we've got Esper Genesis, this time with the full crew. And then on Saturday, we have got Dungeons & Dragons with viewers. So that is what we are looking at over the next week or so. A lot of busy stuff. If you like what you saw and heard, please follow the channel. Please check out the YouTube with !ArvTube, the Discord with !ArvCord. Please make sure to check out the shop with !ArvShop, Twitter with !ArvTweets. Please don't forget about the merchandise area. I mentioned that ArvShop, but also the Patreon, !ArvTreon. And don't forget about the subsystem as well. That sub button right above the video window. Currently, we're sitting at right about 52 subs, I believe. So we're trying to continue to move that up. My goal is to get to 80 subs by the end of the year. So as long as we continue to build, that's great. And I want to get this to 420 by the end of the year. So hopefully we can make that happen as well. Good things for you, good things for the channel, good things all around. And a couple of big announcements coming soon that I can't talk about yet, but very soon. And I'm very excited about those. It's going to be good times. But that's going to do it for me for today. And again, no raid today because we'll be over at GOG at about 4 p.m. Eastern, about 40 minutes from now. Thank you to the wonderful folks who watched today. Thank you to Aerodinel. Thank you to Durable, to Nonstop. Wonderful subscribers all. Thank you to Aestheer. Thank you to Amal, Elmatar. Thank you, Amal, so much as always. Wonderful play today. Thank you to Apricot, Droopfruit, to Arzap. Thank you to Commander Root, Echo Alpha X5. Thanks as always, Echo. Thank you to ECAG, Electrical Longboard, Aaron. Thank you to Foxes Like Boxes, Freest, Gorgar, Host Giveaway, Jagtress, Moobot for some reason, Mr. Mano, Polizei, Positivity Bot for always keeping me positive, Poltergeist Zero, Questionable Results, Snicer, Tenu. Thank you for the follow today, by the way, Snicer. I hope you enjoyed it and will be with us again. Thank you to Stay Hydrated Bot for always keeping me hydrated. Thank you to you, Christensen. Thank you to V&K. Thank you to Valerian Gamer. Thank you to, what is this now? Oh, Bad Guy Cisco. Thank you to Bad Guy Cisco for following. I appreciate it. Thank you to you, Christensen, V&K, Valerian Gamer, Video Store Cowboy, about which you will be hearing more soon, by the way. And last but certainly not least, Virgo Pros. Thank you to everybody. Much love. And I will see all of you wonderful people over on GOG at about 4 p.m. Eastern. Until then, everyone be good to each other. I'll see you soon. Have a good one for now.